I will call to order the June 8th meeting of the Village of Westlake Capital Council. If you will rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and pray with me. Lord God, it's been a great, great day that you've given us in Westlake Chapel, Lord. The grass is green, the weather's right. Lord, it's just been a great day to enjoy this part of your creation that you've shared with us. Lord, we thank you for that. We thank you for giving us this opportunity to meet tonight, and we pray that in all the discussions that we have and all the decisions that we make, they would be made in a way that would honor you. We pray in your holy name. Amen.
All right, thank you all. So that brings us to public comments. I see some new faces, so for public comments, you come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and then have 3 minutes to talk. First up, we have Chuck Laney. All right. If you'll come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Chuck Laney. I'm the pastor over here at Westlake Chapel United Methodist Church. I actually live in Charlotte. I live in Northwest Charlotte, so I commute back and forth as pastor. I wanted to, good evening, anyway, to the mayor and to the council and to the staff. Thank you for the opportunity to let me speak for a minute or so. Just wanted to come by and introduce myself. Just tell you that Westlake Chapel United Methodist Church is here for you all, here for the community. We would like to get more involved if possible. Any type of events or anything like that, we would be more than welcome to try to do what we could to join in. We also are trying to plan a community day one day this fall. We're talking about maybe having some bounce houses, games, food, drinks, things like that. I've spoken with the Sheriff's Department, with the Westlake Chapel Fire Department about coming out as well. They're all on board for that as well. So I'll be in touch with you more about that, what we need to do on our part to have that done. Yeah, but we would like to get word out to everyone as well to come join us that day. Everything will be free. We just want to get word out about us, our church, get other people that may not know us to come by and see our church, and just welcome everybody here to this community. It's a wonderful community. My first year down here, Pastor, the commute down and back and forth sometimes is not as good, especially this afternoon. But most of the time on Sunday mornings, it's not bad. So, but I love it. Love our church and our congregation. If, like I say, if there's anything we can do to make a connection a little bit better, just let us know. I do have my card I'd like to give you before I leave as well. But thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate everything you all do for this community as well. Okay. May I approach and give you a call?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Next, we have Mr. Jimmy Haynes.
Yes.
All right. If you'll come on up and state your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name is Jimmy Haynes, and I reside at 5108 Willow Run Drive, Monroe. And I'm here to bring attention to the code enforcement in that area. As far as public nuisance, some of the people that live in that area, I have pictures to show that this been going on. I moved here going on 3 years, December, and the property value has gone down as far as the property in that area, Cottonwood Circle, Willow Run Drive, and all the other drives in that area and lanes. But my position is that this been going on for several years. 10, I know. My wife, Marion, she's gonna speak on it too. And the thing about it is, these people brag about what they do and what they do and cannot do in that area as far as being a nuisance. just literally brag about it. I got pictures to show you how. Would you wake up to something like that?
Can I ask that you email these to me?
Yes. And the code enforcement officer asked me to send him addresses. And I deliberately told him, I said, look, mister, these people been doing this for 10 years. They are a number one priority to be looked into.
Did you send him the addresses?
No. Because he needs to do his job. And I will say this, if he don't do his job, I'm going to do it.
We're a complaint-based code enforcement. So we need a complaint and then we investigate. So if you...
How long, my question, how long has this been going on? Complaints?
We have been code enforcement is a very difficult task. We have hired Alliance to help us through because we have had such a hard time, and they have been successful in cleaning up several cases. So if you could email me or Joe the house numbers and the complaint or the pictures, we can get the process started.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, and next we have Miss Marion Hill Haynes.
Well, first of all, I'm deaf and I can't understand half of what you want to say. But I'm doing so. I've lived here for 10 years, and my street especially. And I have complained several times, many times. People on facing the house on the right-hand side, they started a business where they were working on cars, breaking down. I mean, it's a mess. They've got broken down cars and trucks. Of course, up the street from me, which is on Cottonwood. I call him Fred Sanford. He's been there forever. I notice he is putting a fence up, so that's a good thing, as long as he gets everything behind the fence. I don't mind the mess if they have a fence and I don't have to look at it. But the problem is, like I said, I've been there for 10 years, and nothing's changed, except more people are doing the same thing that Mr. Fred is doing. So, what can I do?
Well, we know code enforcement has been an issue, and we have had several staffing changes. We finally have found Alliance Code Enforcement, and they do code enforcement across the state, and they've been very helpful. So, emailing Joe or me the pictures, addresses, and the complaints, like needing to know that like the business is running, and he's in town every.
I noticed that several people who run businesses have said it's a hobby. It is not a hobby; it's a business.
Yeah.
I don't know what is considered a hobby and what's considered a business, because what they're doing is a business. I mean, this is what they do for their livelihood.
Well, they've been really great so far. So the more details and pictures you can send to us,
Okay.
we can start.
I will trust that the next couple of months or so, I can see a little bit of improvement.
We will hope so. Yes,
I
ma'am.
hope so too. It really is. The property values, it's a great community. I love my neighbors. I've got a lot of friends there. It's a great community. My son's lived there for 30-some years. And in those 30-some years, there have been a lot of things that have changed, not for the good. So,
We'll send us all the details you can.
And do something.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. And that leads us to Mr. Joel Down.
Good evening, council, mayor, and staff. It's great to see you all once again. As you guys know, my name is Joel Down, and I live at 408 Conway Court. Today I'm going to be discussing a few things in my public comment time. One is the sale of the land behind Village Hall, and then second is the mini golf course at Dogwood Park. Unfortunately, I was unable to be here at last month's budget meeting, but I was told that the council did discuss the sale of the property behind Village Hall. And I think this is an absolutely fantastic idea and definitely needs to happen. I don't know how you guys plan to sell it, but I know there are a variety of different ways to sell it per state law depending on what you are looking to get the property developed into. I hope that Mr. George will be able to share those different opportunities because I don't necessarily understand them all and educate the public if possible. I do think that zoning the parcel behind the Village Hall to commercial makes the most sense as it's kind of part of the Village Commons area. It is also consistent with the 2050 land use plan, and in that 2050 plan, 56% of respondents were interested in having new commercial development within the village center, which I would say that this parcel is part of. Obviously, at that time, Publix and things like that were not necessarily in the discussion. But I also think that, personally, I think that we have too many medical facilities within the village. Therefore, I would encourage the council to restrict more medical uses on that property that could be sold. I think that we have too many. We have so many dentistries, orthodontists, and primary care doctors, with even more to come on the way. And the main concern I have with medical use facilities is, does the village garner property taxes and sales tax from those facilities? From what I understand, hospitals, obviously not something that we have in the village, receive many tax breaks from the state, which I personally think needs to change, but that's for a different forum. But do these medical facilities that are currently here, do they pay property taxes, or do we receive sales tax from them? If not, I definitely think that's something that needs to change, and that we should look for uses other than medical. One exception to that would be is a post office, but I don't think that will necessarily happen. Regarding the mini golf course, I do want to thank Mr. Lefke for all his hard work in putting up the mini golf course, and thank the council for providing those funds to Mr. Lefke. But I would encourage the council to look into ways for the mini golf course to be somewhat profitable, or for the village to garner funds from the mini golf course. As Mr. Lefke and I have previously discussed, it seems to be a lot of outside interest into the mini golf course from outside residents and also organizations. And so I would like the council to look into ways of doing that through donations or fees or grants that may be out there. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. That leads us to additions, deletions, and adoption of the agenda. And we do have several additions and changes. So we'll start in the end and work our way down.
Can we remove item 10D, the East Fork 12 Mile Creek Tributaries Flood Study Report? I don't think that it's right for discussion.
So we will postpone 10D until July, Amy. If you will keep that on our July agenda. Ms. Bailey?
Yeah, I have a few items. So on item 6D, I'd like to add number 4 for green space agreement. Would like to add item 6F to talk about credit card limits. Would like to add item 6G for discussion on personnel policy and job descriptions. I'd like to add 6H for the discussing of the land sale. And then would like to move item 7D to 6I. Yeah.
See, the 6G is discussion on the personnel policy and job description.
Yes, ma'am. H is a discussion of the land sale, and I is 7D, which is the closed session before we adopt the budget. Anything else?
I think that's enough.
Okay. Mr. Boyce?
The only question that I have is, at this point, do we have enough information to really discuss the land sale? What's our goal with 6H?
A motion to get it started?
I would like to discuss what Attorney Sistrunk has shared to this point about the process for moving forward.
Okay.
Just to get the
Just a
rolling.
discussion.
Just to get it, a motion potentially to get it rolling.
Then are we looking for a motion at this point?
As a potential.
Okay.
I didn't want to rule it out.
Okay.
And I will apologize on behalf of Councilwoman Bledsoe. She is unable to be here tonight, but wishes she could be here. So we have several changes. Is there a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
So motion.
Any further discussion?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous. All right, then we're on to the consent agenda, which is a whole bunch of meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Then that leads us to the Eagle Scout presentation from Mr. Oliver Morrow.
Council, you know we love our Eagle Scouts. This evening I'd like to introduce Oliver Morrow from some Troop 46 in Sila. Oliver has stepped up to volunteer to do a project for us that's long been needed. I'll let him describe the project for you. Just want to let you know I strongly recommend that Council give me okay to move ahead with this project.
Mayor and council members of this community. If you give me a second, I'm going to hand out a couple of these sheets of paper that kind of detail my project. As Mr. Lumpy said, my name is Oliver Morrow. I'm a member of Troop 46, working towards earning the rank of Eagle Scout. I would like to propose a service project for Dogwood Park that would provide both environmental and aesthetic benefits to the park. With help from John Lumpy, the park director, I plan to build a retaining wall alongside the concrete walkway using recycled 6x6 logs recovered from the washout bridge within the park. And I think that bridge is on this picture right here. We would recycle some of the logs from there towards reusing these materials. By using these materials, the project would be more cost effective for me getting it done. And I think we have most of the tools already. And environmentally responsible by getting these logs to good use. The only expense for me would be taken upon myself would be fundraising the rebar towards anchoring this in the ground. And we already have access to the tools, and once completed, the retaining wall would help reduce soil runoff and erosion along the walkway, while also protecting the flower beds from being accidentally trampled by the children and pedestrians along the walkway. I believe this project will improve the appearance and improve the safety of the pathways in Dogwood Park, while also demonstrating the values of service and conservation that Scouting promotes. I respectfully request your approval in supporting this project, and thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Questions for the Scout?
Do you plan to backfill behind the retaining wall?
Yes, sir. The soil would be removed in digging out the trench for putting in this wall. You would collect the soil onto a tarp and then backfill with that soil.
How do you plan on attaching the timbers?
We have the right drill equipment that we would need to be able to drill 3 holes in each timber, and then the rebar that grab lengths of rebar, and then the rebar should be able to hold them together and pound them into the ground to anchor them in place.
Are you going to be treating the rebar so it doesn't rust?
Yeah, we would either try to find purchase rebar that would have already the treated aspects to it, or we would do that ourselves.
Whereabouts is this exactly? And how was this location selected, I guess?
Oh, I'm sorry. The pictures are a little weird, getting one on paper, but that section of the park right there is the first. Once you get off the parking lot and you start on the concrete path, it's a couple yards in. It's not that far, and I think you can see, but it's right next to the. It's the group of trees between the playground and the walkway.
I want to make sure I was thinking about the right place.
Immediately before the trail that goes into the playground.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a steep slope like this. We put mulch on it. It rains. The mulch washes onto the trail, makes it slippy.
So,
just want to put a retaining wall in there to stop the
how
wash.
long will the retaining wall be?
About 45 feet, I think.
Yeah. It's a couple lengths that would be back to back of the lots that we already have access to.
Okay. Thank you.
It will only be a couple of timbers high, and we're using timber we recovered from the bridge we took out at the dam.
Now that school's out for the summer, what's your timeline?
I was expecting I could probably get this done around the weekend, maybe 2 or 3 days, so I would probably utilize Labor Day weekend to try to get it. It started on Friday, most of the work done, most of the digging out and input of the actual logs on Saturday. And
You
then,
mean Memorial Day?
Or
No, Labor Day.
September?
Probably.
Okay.
It's a little bit adventurous, but I was hoping I could do it then.
Any further questions? All right.
Who's your mentor, and have they had any experience putting in retaining walls in the past? Because this new structure's down, because kids are going to be climbing on this. Kids are going to be jumping off of it, kids are going to be playing on it.
Yes, sir.
Fail.
My mentor is Scoutmaster Jeff Sweeney, and he's had he's done a couple projects already. He's had 2 Eagle Scouts already, and they worked on refurbishing some of the, let's say, some of the amenities inside of Presbyterian. One of his projects was redoing the wood platforms for the stadium seats at the baseball field over there, and those are able to hold weight, and he got those purchased and done. And then we refurnished the that's over there. And then his other son, I think, did work in Dogwood Park doing either the picnic tables or the flagpoles. And those are still there today, so it's pretty good.
Mr. Sweeney does nice work.
Yes, he does.
All right. Any further questions for the Scout? Do we have a motion on allowing Scout Morrow to move forward with his Eagle Scout project at Dogwood Park?
Absolutely. Make a motion to move forward.
Is there a second? The only thing we ask before we vote is you have to come back and present kind of at the end of it and show us pictures and tell us how it went for you.
Will do.
All right. So, all in favor? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
You'll
And
have-
then can I get the signature?
Yes, sir.
We want the signature.
It's the very bottom of
I know. Here, I'm the beneficiary, right?
yeah, you get your own retaining.
Yay. Thank you.
that versus thing.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
All right. That leads us to, John, before I finish, what's the status of before we move on for the Boy Scouts, the little libraries? How are they going?
Little library's done.
Okay.
They did a really good job constructing the new boxes, the doors, the signage on them. The masonry work was left a little bit to be desired. And so Big Dave and the volunteer, myself, the lead on the masonry work is now looking for complete.
Okay. All right. So he should be coming back soon, right?
I didn't know I had to have him come back. I can request he come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like them to come back and tell us they're done and show us their finished product. All right. Thank you. That leads us to the finance officer update.
Yes, ma'am. So, don't have new reports for you. One of the things I did hand out for you was an estimate for our unassigned fund balance that you can see with some of the things we're going to walk through tonight. The unassigned fund balance only gets calculated once a year when you do an audit, so we don't really have a legit number. And so what I tried to do was estimate based on the amount of cash we had, based on the amounts that were already in other fund balances, which also change every time you do an audit. We don't have that information. Also recognizing that we weren't going to do a budget amendment here in a minute, what that would look like, expenses we still have for June, which is the last month of this fiscal year, and then kind of calculating that out, and then the set-asides that we've discussed for the proposed budget, which would mean that we would have an available unassigned fund balance of around $238,000, which isn't bad. And I think based on what I'm seeing, it's because we're coming in under budget in maybe the $200,000 range. So this available balance is almost what we didn't spend in the last budget. That's how kind of close we are. On the back is the things that are in the assigned fund balance. And that was today, but the last time we did anything was in February. So just to give you that information, kind of as a status of where we're at. Any questions on that? A housekeeping item to make you aware of is I'll be moving funds from our North Carolina Capital Trust account into our Truist checking account. The trust account, to remind you, is where all of our extra cash is, so that we can earn a better interest rate than we can at the Truist checking account. As we've been spending money for from the grant, that money was essentially put in the trust because it was going to sit there for a period of time to earn the most interest. As we've been spending the money, we haven't been transferring the money from the trust over to the general fund, so now we need to do that, and basically what I'll do is I'll move all of the funds for that grant into the general fund. And this is just to make you aware of that. I'm not moving it between the funds, I'm moving it between bank accounts. It's two different things for that. One of the things we'd like to do is then to do any housekeeping related to any fund transfers for anything that's been wrong, and for that I just need a motion to move any identified funds as necessary from Fund 31 to Fund 10. And that's as we go through and finish wrapping up all those expenditures. So if I can have a motion for that.
Motion from Fund 31 to Fund 10.
As identified and needed, yeah.
Yeah, on an as-needed basis.
Well, yeah, because as we're going through to get those funds out of the capital account into the general fund, and the way we have to write the checks and in the software, I just want this motion just to cover so that we're doing everything legitimately. We don't get held up in getting the paperwork right as we wrap up the end of the year.
Can we do that not knowing what the amount may be?
Well, it won't be any more than $250,000 because that's the whole grant
That's
amount.
all to say. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like we may have moved some as we've done this expenditures, but I'm not quite sure yet. The analysis is still underway.
Okay. So help me through with the motion. We're going to be moving.
Just a motion to move funds as necessary from Fund 31 to Fund 10
Okay.
As we complete the OSBM project.
So motion. That sounds great.
I'll second.
I need to get a copy of the grant extension that I signed. It actually went to John's DocuSign, so I've got a copy. I got to get John and get a copy of that. And then hopefully this will be wrapped up very soon. All right, all in favor? Okay, thank you.
All right. The next item I wanted to talk about was the RFP. And so somewhere we have a piece of paper for the RFP. So I was very pleased. First off, kudos and thank you to Kirk Medlin, the finance officer at Mineral Springs. They also did an RFP for the audit, and I basically used theirs and just changed the names of the towns. And so I really appreciate that help. It was great. We had 4 responses to our request, which I'm very pleased with. I was thrilled to definitely had one. Over the years, we would talk about it and ask about getting other bids, but we were led to believe that was really hard. So just feel pretty good about it. The sheet you have with the comparison, Friday morning, Amy and I opened the bids, and this is just listing the information. I did try to contact references, and a number of them didn't answer or call me back. The ones that did respond on the list, everyone that I did speak to just highly recommended the auditor that they did have. So that's just to let you know that. You can look at the base cost, the extra audit cost. So some will charge a per hour rate. If there's other work, others would say, no, we expect to have questions and do other things along the way. I think any of them, if they find something, it's like, oh, this is a huge project, and it might be a different conversation during that. Some of them, I'd say most of them, called out a separate fee for creating the financial statements. It's always been part of our audit. And then only one of them called out doing the AFIR, and don't ask me what that stands for right now because I cannot remember, which is not that complicated a document. In fact, I think I did it last year, best I can remember. And then the total cost. And then the subsequent pages, we had also asked them to give us an estimate of cost for the next 2 years. So we kind of had a view for 3 years of what they would look like. I did kind of list down the audit team. I think that was something with the auditor we previously used. It didn't seem like there was like a team there to help support through the process. And then just going through and looking at the different questions and the documents, everybody responded fully to everything we asked. Most of them, they're all using some sort of package or software that, the best I can tell, is being tailored or something. So it's more like a template approach, it sounds like, that they're kind of using. So they're not all just kind of creating this, and I think that gives them some synergies and some cost savings with it. They all did give us some insight into the timing, because we were really pushing that we could get started this month for them to come in and start getting everything set up so that we can make the deadline for it. And so that's the information that's before you.
And dumb question.
No dumb questions.
So this is for the audit of our 25, 26 books.
Yes.
How do we proceed with that since we don't have 24, 25?
I suspect, so I haven't spoken to any of them. I suspect they all went on the website, the LGC website, and noticed that we did not have one. So I doubt that it would be a surprise to any of them. If it were, then shame on them. But I do think that whoever we select, they're going to say, well, we need to do one for 24, 25. And I think they will be looking for us to do that with them. Now, I don't know if this is a legal question for George. If, we pick a company and then we want to go and have them do our 24, 25 audit, do we have to have a separate contract for that, or are we just doing a contract for services and then it would just be an SOW or something?
I mean, I think you could have a standard form contract that has a supplemental statement of work for whichever audit
calendar year,
or whatever the tasks are in relation to the audit services. So I think that would be fine.
Okay. And so, any other questions?
Did we expend any monies on the previous auditor?
I have not paid her any money for any work on the 24-25 audit because we've not received anything.
Okay.
And she has been sent a letter telling her we were terminating the contract as of today.
So, do you have a recommendation of who you...
Well, all things being equal, we tend to go on price or total cost, and that's where S. Preston Douglas and Associates kind of comes in significantly lower than the others. And I don't see anything within the information they provided to be that different. What I did learn from them, if you look at their references, and somebody should tell me where all these towns are: Northwest, Marietta, Parkton, Sandyfield. They are kind of doing a lot of really, really small towns.
Parkton's a small town in Robinson County.
They're all in Robinson County except Hillsborough. Mm-hmm. It's like these little bitty ones in Hillsborough. As references, so kind of big span there. So that personally kind of made me feel better that, they're not going to be surprised that we have some weird stuff going on and don't have the staff to handle some of it.
Lori, would there be any need for them to have to travel here?
Yes, there is. Travel costs are included in their estimate. No one called out travel costs separately because I had it as a column and then I got rid of it because it didn't have anything to put there. They're all basically thinking that there'll be some sort of preliminary piece, but a lot of it will be done remotely. So I think that the on-site piece is essentially to get to know us. I mean, if I were in their position, that would be my primary purpose, is let me come in, get a look, put my eyes on the things, and see about everything, and then they would probably have a portal with all their various software that we would load up all our documents to and everything. But yeah, we don't have anything travel separately. Good question.
Marietta has 111 residents.
Yeah, so yes, it's really small. It was interesting talking to towns who are so much smaller than us. But yes, I don't see any reason not to select S. Preston Douglas and Associates, and they do have the lowest total cost. And when you look at their estimates going forward, it was a minimal increase.
Based on what happened with us with the last RFP, should any motion be to attempt a contract with A, and if that falls through, move to B so we don't have to have a special meeting? Or you don't see any reason they should fall through?
We could always do that. It's just the other two are, flip a coin, I guess. I don't see any reason that they would have bid if they weren't ready to follow through with it. And like I said, they could go on the website and see our prior audits and the fact that we don't have one. And they can go on our website and see. One of them even went on our website and got our picture of the seal and put on their response. So they're looking. So I think we should be okay if we pick one.
Okay.
Other questions?
No.
All right. So is there a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion we move forward with S. Preston Douglas and Associates.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
Hallelujah. So we've selected them, and I was just wondering if we could now maybe do a motion that would let us, as they send us a contract and everything, to go ahead and let the mayor move through doing that and getting everything set for them to complete our 24, 25, and 25, 26 audit.
Yeah, agreed. So motioned.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much for the honor. All right, all in favor? Unanimous.
Okay. The next item on the agenda was to talk about budget amendments. So last year when we did our budget message, we said we were going to set aside $250,000 each fiscal year for so many years for either the dam repair or road improvements, as well as a piece for the 25% of the budget. And so here we are in June. I think it's time for us to move the funds for the 25-26 set aside for the dam into the assigned fund balance and the 250,000 25, 26 amount for the road improvements into the assigned fund balance. That way it gets them out of the unassigned fund balance. It's the end of this fiscal year. It gets it designated more officially than just leaving it in the pool. I'm not advocating for us to take the funds for 25, 26, for 26, 27 until next June. And that seems like an easy way to kind of do it. We got the monies. It's like what we aspire to. And if we get to where we can do that, we do that. So the budget amendment I would like to make tonight, 2526-5, would be to move $250,000 for the FY 25-26 dam repair set aside from the unassigned fund balance to the assigned fund balance, to move $250,000 for the FY 25-26 road improvement set aside from unassigned fund balance to assigned fund balance. And then the last part of the budget amendment is a year-end cleanup item. It's related, it's a shame they've left, code enforcement professional services, to move $5,500 from Park and Rec's part-time wages to the code enforcement professional services. And that should be all the budget amendments we need for year end. And then every account department should come in at or less than the appropriated amount. So we should be in compliance with the statute.
So that is for year-end $5,500 approximate part-time wages to code enforcement wages?
No, code enforcement professional services. So if I could have a motion for those. Or
Yeah, I'll make a motion to the 3 budget amendments stated.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
Let's see, on contracts, so council, you were sent, and I think they're in the package, I don't remember, for a number of our different contracts for Benchmark, the Union County Contract Deputy, the Urban Forester. Green Space Law came in today, and that went to you, and Alliance Code Enforcement. So essentially looking for approval for these contracts or agreements, recognizing that, especially the deputy, they say preliminary, but these amounts have been budgeted for the upcoming year, but we just need to validate that we want to move forward with these vendors.
There were 2 quotes from Green Space.
One for Village Hall and one for the park.
Got it.
Yeah, we asked for them to be separated because when they first started doing service for us, everything went to, and QuickBooks was handled into one place, but we separated out now because they're 2 separate departments. So they very kindly accommodated me. John kept going back to them for me. So makes it much easier to keep up with. And Alliance Code Enforcement is just remaining at the $50 for the same number of hours as what we've been doing. No change in that. Benchmark had a slight increase. Contract Deputy had an increase because of adding a layer of supervision. And then the Urban Forester slight increase, just costs go up. Questions about this?
Green Space contract, how much do we have that budgeted for?
Yes. They did not increase their prices.
Are you talking about Green Space?
Yeah.
There's 2 actually. There's the tree service contract and there's the Green Space contract. I reached out to both of them and asked them if they would be willing to renew. The contract has a clause in there allowing us to renew mutually agreeable terms. Both of them expressed the willingness to renew at the existing rate, which is good news because we kept it flat in the budget.
Yeah.
So those 2 contracts are expiring June 30. So we need to decide to do so. To renew effective July 1st, 2026 through June 30, 2027 to renew at the existing rates.
And I just saw an email for CS Springs.
Sorry?
I just saw an email for CS Springs. I didn't see a contract per se.
Yeah, somewhere we have a contract with them. If you recall, a long time back, we were bidding.
Oh, I'm not debating that. I'm just saying in this week of us doing this, I don't recall seeing that. So I didn't miss anything.
No, you didn't.
I got the two for Green
I
Space.
reached out to him. Amy asked me if they'd agreed.
Right. And it was just
I
an
said,
email
"Let me
that said
reach out
they
to
did.
him." I reached out to him and said, "Are you willing to renew at the existing rate?" Yes, in the affirmative from both. So I think if council agrees, we just need to send both a letter saying council has agreed to renew from July 1, 2026 to June 30, 2027 at the existing rate.
So, council, any questions about these contracts?
Parental liquor agreements, yeah. Any questions? I know it's a lot.
We just need to do two motions now. We need to do one motion for green space,
Yeah, Green Space.
and tree, since those are flat contracts. And then we need to agree to move forward with the benchmark contract deputy and urban forester, since those are going to be increases, and give the mayor authority to negotiate and agree to those as long as
It's Green Space, Alliance Code Enforcement, and CS Springs are all staying flat.
okay. So I think that we need to have two motions, right, George?
Yep.
Thank you.
And then for the deputy urban forester and benchmark, we need to give Amanda the authority to negotiate or to agree to whatever the finalist contracted are.
Okay. And it's Green Space Alliance and
CS Springs. That's the tree company.
SCS?
CS Springs. Yeah. So that's just in there.
all right. So, who would like to make the first motion? I think you would.
Oh, we're going to break David's streak?
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve contracts for CS Springs, Alliance Code Enforcement, and Green Space Landscaping. At the current contract rate, we renew for a term of July 1st to June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
I make a motion that we grant the mayor authority to finalize the contracts with Benchmark, Union County Contract Deputy, and the Union County Urban Forester, using the current contracts with reasonable negotiated terms for the 2026-2027 time period.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Thank
Let's
you.
do the squishiest motion I've ever made.
I'm just trying to get everything
I'm impressed.
sort of I's dotted and T's crossed to the best of our ability so we can just move forward. The next item was, every year we have these memberships, and over the years we've had different discussions. I feel like in May when we talked about the budget draft, we were all pretty much in agreement of continuing these memberships, but I just wanted it to kind of like officially us say that we want to continue being members of CARPO, NCLM, School of Government, and the Union County Chamber of Commerce. To see if there's still consensus to remain members in that for the coming year.
I'm going to throw it back to David. Our carpet rep.
Is there that could be
that
dangerous. Yeah. Is there a place that we can find the amounts on those, Lori? Quick place.
Right this instant, no. But I will try to look as the meeting progresses off of finance.
I think they're in the packet.
They're where?
Packets, and all of them might not be.
No, the memberships? I don't think so. I think it's just the contract.
I know we discussed it in the budget last.
Yeah, we did.
What the numbers were.
I just don't have all my budget stuff pulled out. I have not received So we don't get like Benchmark sends us, hey, here's our preliminary thing for the coming year. We don't get those from these guys. It's usually kind of like when it comes up time to renew. NCLM, I think, is the most expensive one.
But we need them. We have used.
And we've gotten our money's worth out of that one. And then the School of Government CARPA. So I can try to find that information after we move off of this.
Well, it should be the total amount, right?
It's within the dues and subscriptions line item, which includes multiple other items, including software and other things, because they're all dues and subscriptions. And that's the Urban Forester. So,
It's 20
I had
grand
the
in their
thought-
total.
20 grand. Okay.
yeah, I had the thought to have that number and then forgot about it.
That's okay. Well, because we did talk about it. I mean, we talked about it
Yeah.
last month, and we agreed that we would continue with all of them. My only comment is I want to make sure that we're getting our money's worth out of CRTPO and the Chamber of Commerce.
The Chamber of Commerce is $500. That one I remember because it's the cheapest one. The Carpo, I would say, and I don't know if it's a credit to Carpo or Union County, but it does seem like we're getting pretty good, I don't know, cooperation, or at least some of our concerns on the docket with them. I don't know if that's a credit for being in CRTPO or.
I mean, I can say as staff, I mean, we not only do we have to go regular staff meetings, monthly meetings, we're working on different little projects, and I've got lots of meetings right now. I'm going to CRTPO.
So you feel like it's a wise
I feel like
use of our.
I think it's a great way to be able to get the information for projects that are going on, not only just us, but around the area. For staff, I think it's great. I think it's important to set up.
We'll talk more about CRTPO in council comments, but at this point, I would make a motion that we approve FY 26-27 membership approvals for CRTPO, NCLM, School of Government, and Chamber of Commerce.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Unanimous. Item F.
One of the items, it's come to my attention that, we do a pre-audit, so we don't need to see that, Amy.
I'm looking for myself.
No, you showed us.
I know.
Like, we don't need to see that.
Yeah, that's not just me.
It's been brought to my attention. So, like, when I sign a check, I have to do a pre-audit. It's a statute that says you have to guarantee that there's funds to cover that expenditure before we make the expenditure. And we're supposed to do the same thing for credit cards. So there has to be a way that we are controlling credit card expenses and that they're within certain limits. And so, still working through that, but I wanted to get from council your thoughts on credit card limits. So we have, Amy has a Truist credit card, and she makes a lot of purchases for all sorts of stuff for the village. And most often the bill is less than $1,000, but sometimes it runs higher. Like when we bought a printer, we're going to have to buy a laptop. We'll probably put it on the credit card. And so that's Amy's. John will be getting a Truist credit card, and he has a Lowe's credit card. Years ago, I know that council approved for John to be allowed a certain limit on the Lowe's credit card. But now that we're getting the other Truist credit card, I thought this was just a good time to come back and to understand thoughts on spending, acceptable spending level. So as we talk through what to do with pre-audit, because I got to formalize that process more. But understanding where council's at or what council is comfortable with of them spending on each credit card, it would be good for us to know, because we have voted on it in the past. Does that make sense?
It does. Would the pre-audit, though, not serve as a check for any, I don't want to say excessive expenditures, but any expenditures that would be outside of the realm?
So that's going to have to be part of this process. But what I understand others have done is they literally will say, like, it can be this amount of money for these type of things, right? So it could be this amount of money for supplies, kind of broad. Others like, oh, we rarely do it, so it's very limited. A lot of towns use a P card. That's a whole nother level of complexity, but I think if we can have a credit limit set on it to where it keeps it from being overspent for any period of time is one way to control that. We do, right now what happens is we get the credit card, it gets reconciled with receipts, but we also get, from John, a lot of expense reimbursements because we use the Bank of John for a lot of our park expenses. And so by using the Truist credit card, that will help reduce some of that. And it also just kind of condenses it down to one place.
So you're wanting to define it by category?
I was looking just to define a credit card limit, like how much are we comfortable with letting John spend at Lowe's, how much are we letting him spend on Truist credit card, how much are we comfortable with Amy ultimately spending on, you know, the credit card. I think Amy's limit should be significantly higher because we never know what we're going to ask her to buy for us.
There was a charge limit on the Lowe's card of $500.
Okay, I couldn't remember what it was.
It was $500. And one time I needed to spend more than that, so I went to Kathy. She called and authorised a one-time charge that was greater than $500. And then we had to do it recently for the siphon that council approved, because that was $1,135.84.
Yeah.
That was above the limit, but that was a delivery order. So that was done directly with the...
Yeah. So I couldn't remember what the amount was, but that's kind of what we're looking at. So we just want to let him be able to spend $500 for Lowe's, $500 for Truist, for simplicity maybe. I don't think that's out. I think that's higher than what your typical monthly reimbursements are.
Yeah. I mean, I try and buy everything at Lowe's, but if I got to get it from Amazon because it's cheaper.
It's hard to buy gas at Lowe's, you know, or some other things. And I do think by him having the Truist credit card, it does allow him that ability to get other vendors that could be less expensive.
You good with that, sir?
I mean, I don't mind using my own credit card.
Pretty good rates at the Bank of John, but, you know, I'm just saying.
Until you pay somebody $125 an hour to process it.
Yeah.
All right, so did we decide?
500, 500?
For John?
For John. Amy?
Well, if she signs up for training courses, that's $500. That's over $500 alone.
Yeah, Amy's signed up for things that's thousands of dollars for training. But so our total credit limit for your information is $10,000. So,
but we pay it off, right?
What?
On Friday, I received information from my upcoming certification class for a lot. It's at the Court Mary. It's going to be $140 a night. So that's 20 nights. So, and that was approved previously, but I will be have to make charges for each day. And I can either get approval from you when I do it, or that might be something to consider.
But again, it kind of goes back to me saying I think Amy's limit needs to be higher because of things like that. And I do think, like, if John were going to go take a class, we would temporarily increase his credit limit so he could do the same thing.
So, just based on history, what are you thinking for Amy's? 2,500?
Yeah, I think somewhere in that 2,500, 3,000 range.
Okay.
I don't recall seeing a credit card bill higher than that in the last year. Also, I'm looking at it as it's also protection for us by not having too high a credit card limit should it get lost or something.
Agreed. Okay.
we're looking at 500 and 500 for John on Truist and Lowe's, and 2,500 for Amy on Truist as credit card limits. And then they'll work into our pre-audit process.
Okay.
Okay. Do we need a motion for that?
You know,
You want to make it legal? I'll make a motion. 25. We said 2,500
for Amy.
for the limit based on Amy's card, and then 500 and 500 each for Truist and Lowe's for John's use.
Is there a second?
I think we need to change that to their titles as opposed to
It
names.
is. Park director and clerk.
There you go.
We didn't add that to the agenda, Mayor.
Oh, bad.
With that amendment, I would second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Alright. So the next item, G, is for a personnel policy. So in 2020, we engaged the MAPS group to come in and write official job descriptions and a personnel policy for us. It helped us to delineate the different roles and everything else, and it's been 6 years. And so, in kind of discussing this with the mayor, I felt like it was a good time for us to think about that probably needs to be reviewed and make sure we're still legally compliant with anything that may have changed in the HR world. But also, we have different roles now that need to be documented. We've, since we've done that, we now have like a deputy finance officer role. We had a deputy clerk role that wasn't in there. And so and we have a park director and a park technician. So this would allow us to get all of those officially documented and the personnel policy updated.
Especially as we look into the future.
Yes. And in 2020, that was like $5,200. And so I don't think they would be starting from scratch because they already did the work for us one time. But I do think there is some new work associated with it. And so I was hoping that would be something that we could talk about and try to move forward with getting those updated.
That would also go through the MAPS group.
Yeah. Partly because they did the work before. Hopefully we get the same person.
And it was really the only place that was recommended by the NCLM.
So how do we start that process? Do we reach out to them and sort of define what we have, and then they come back with a quote to put all that together?
I think that's one way we can do it if y'all bless us going out and asking them all that, to get that information, to get those quotes that we can bring back and get voted on.
Sure.
Didn't just want to go out and do it.
I think it sounds like a great idea.
All right. So is there let's just make it official. You have a motion for us to go out and try to get the ball rolling on this and bring you back a quote?
Sure.
Is there a second? Any
Second.
further discussion?
Nope.
All in favor? Under this personnel and job description, Amy, we did not print out your swearing in wording.
Oh, we could do that next month, probably.
Okay.
Or I could probably find one right here. We can do it.
That's not on the agenda.
It's personnel and job description. We'll put it on the July agenda. Just don't let us forget. Okay.
So it's
Don't let me forget again.
I wasn't aware that part was official either, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next item was H, about the land sale. So when we had our budget meeting last month, the mayor suggested that one way for us to raise money was for the sale of the land that we have back here, in that no idea what we might get for it, but it should be a little chunk of change that would go a long way toward helping with the dam repair. And so it seemed like we should talk about how do we get this started and what all needs to be done. And I know the mayor's had some conversations, but that's why I added it to the agenda.
Okay.
So we don't lose it. We can get it going if we want the money.
So George, Emily, Vaughn, and I did talk. We're in the process of finishing our previous deal with Aston. We are waiting on a plat that subdividing the property based on the legal description and their offer to purchase. Once we get that plat signed and recorded, that will officially transfer that back stormwater portion to Aston. George has prepared the draft deed and all the other conveyance documents, so we're just waiting on the plat. So I'm asking Emily to reach out and find out about the plat. So for the sale of the remaining land, even though we don't have the plat yet, even though it's not officially subdivided, as long as we have we can still list the property for sale. We just need to know generally about how much acreage it is and like the general whatever. George, do you recommend like a appraisal? Or can we just have a motion to move forward with?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of ways to go about selling a piece of property, right? I mean, you can gauge a broker to list the property. That broker can advise you on value matters, what you should list it for, that kind of thing. If there's already interest that you know of, you can negotiate directly with that person. You guys would just have to, there's multiple statutory methods to sell property. The one most applicable is the private negotiation and sale issue, where you end up negotiating a contract with somebody. It gets advertised. People have the ability to upset and come in with another offer that's higher, and then ultimately you can enter into a contract to sell to whoever that final person is. So,
And that's what we're most familiar with, because that's what
right. That's the typical one. You're not in the stage now where you can evaluate what the property should be listed for and how you're going to go about that. So I probably, if council wants to move ahead, but you probably need a little bit more of a generic motion to, I don't know, I think you're in that fact-finding stage, maybe.
Okay.
Am I right about that from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have it. No one has approached us to buy it. We just have decided we may need to sell it.
So maybe that motion is something along the lines of authorizing someone to engage with real estate professionals about the possibility of selling it and what the next steps are. And then when those next steps, when there's some meat to those next steps, maybe you come back to council to approve whatever those next steps are. That's probably what it is based on what I'm hearing.
Can it be staff?
Yeah.
Be the appraiser?
No.
I saw it was like, do what? That's all right. I saw it was like.
Well, I think it would be, it would be to take necessary steps to evaluate the potential sale of the property, including gathering information about the value of the property, so that and leave it open-ended maybe, so that can be talking with potential real estate agents. It could be listing agents for the property, that kind of thing. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Just checking. I was like, what are you asking?
So the motion would be that we would authorize the mayor and staff at her discretion to solicit information from real estate professionals on both the value and the process of selling that land back there.
Bingo.
And we're giving the mayor a lot of authority tonight. It's summertime.
Just because I'm on spring break does not mean I'm going to be here every day. I mean, summer break. It's summer break. I don't want to be here every day.
Well, this time we're giving you the authority to delegate that authority.
Okay.
So
Was that a motion?
Yes, it is a motion.
Is there a second?
Yep, sure.
Is there further discussion? So Emily and I'll try to put some pressure on Aston to get the plat so we can get that ball rolling, and then we'll touch base, Emily. All in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you guys for that. I just didn't want us to lose that little thread that we had from our budget meeting. So, the next item on the agenda is a closed session for legal advice, attorney-client privilege. So I make a motion for us to go into closed session for legal advice.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Make a motion that we come out of closed session.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, we are out of closed session and moving on to item 6Z. Just kidding. Item number 7.
So this is for the proposed budget for FY 26-27. In the package, we have the budget message. I'll just read out for the record. The fiscal year 2026-2027 Village of Wesley Chapel budget is hereby submitted to the Village Council for their consideration in accordance with the Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act. The total proposed budget for FY 2026-2027 is $1,264,496.690, a decrease of $40,886 from the FY 2025-2026 adopted budget. Expenditures for the 2025-2026 fiscal year included the Union County Purple intersection study and a mini golf course at Dogwood Park. These investments were possible because maintaining the fund balance sufficient to avoid debt has been and continues to be a priority for Council. An OSBM grant of $250,000 was received in FY 2023-24 designated for sedimentation removal at Dogwood Park Pond. Removal work began in May 2026, and any remaining grant funds will be spent in fiscal year 2026-2027. The FY 2025-26 budget message included accumulating $250,000 each year for up to 5 years in the unassigned fund balance to cover the cost of the dam repair, and accumulating $250,000 each year for 3 years to enable the village to continue investing in road improvements. FY 2026-2027 will be the second year of set-asides for the dam repair and future road improvements to ensure adequate funds during the fiscal year for cash flow fluctuations, revenue shortfalls, and unexpected expenses. And in at least 25% of the fiscal year budget should be maintained in the unassigned fund balance, which is $266,123 for FY 2026-2027. The total minimum to maintain in the unassigned fund balance to meet the stated fund balance goals for FY 2025-2026 and FY 26-27 is $1,266,123. To achieve the balanced budget for fiscal year 2026-2027, the proposed tax rate will remain 2.25 cents per $100 valuation for a home value of $500,000. The annual Wesley Chapel tax will be $112.50. Preliminary real and personal property values are estimated at $2,322,274,402, a 1.8% valuation increase. Motor vehicle estimated assessment of $180,769,347, a 6.6% valuation increase from the prior year. Budgeted taxes for real and personal property are $528,424, an increase of $9,355 over the prior year. Motor vehicle taxes increased $2,487. The collection rate is anticipated to be 99%. The proposed FY 2026-2027 budget will fund all current professional services, including planning and zoning, financial services, contract deputy, code enforcement, and urban forester, as well as clerk and 2 part-time park employees. Staff will receive merit COLA increases, and the ledger's contribution rate increased to 15.1% from 14.35%. A $10,000 capital outlay is budgeted to replace 1 of 4 heat pumps at Village Hall. No capital outlay is budgeted for Dogwood Park as priorities to save for the dam repair. Respectfully submitted the 8th day of June 2026, Lori Bailey, Finance Budget Officer. And then the ordinance is attached, which basically lists out the general fund appropriations by account or department, as well as our revenue for the general fund, and then the OSBM grant money. Now, the OSB grant money is just a higher than expected estimate, so that it just covers us into next year. It's very likely all of those funds will be expended before that fiscal year begins. So it's just bigger, in case.
So the real budget to worry about is the general fund budget. Council questions for Lori before I open the public hearing? Anything else, Ms. Bailey?
I think that's just to get it started.
Okay, so I will open a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak on the budget, come ahead and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Council again. My name is Joel Down, live at 408 Conway Court. Today, regarding the budget, I would like to urge you to reconsider the membership for the Union County Chamber of Commerce for two main reasons. One, and primarily I think is the biggest thing, is that their stance is on growth. And then second is the money could just, in my opinion, be better used here at the village. First, on growth. Obviously, the people of Weston Chapel want slower, smarter, and controlled growth within the village and also the county, not runaway development. And the Chamber of Commerce has repeatedly pushed, especially in 2024, for aggressive utility upgrades such as expanded your sewer capacity. This would fuel even more residential developments, and these statements, which are from June and July of 2024, are still on the website right now, and I'll be sending those links specifically to you guys this evening as well. It definitely seems that the Chamber wants faster growth that will benefit few developers and municipalities, while the burden falls on, obviously, the residents of the village and the county. The second is that the membership fees, in my personal opinion, can just be used better here. Obviously, it's just $500, so it's not too much or anything like that. But another thing I just don't understand is, as the village is a government, how does the village benefit from being part of the Chamber of Commerce? And if I don't understand entirely what the Chamber of Commerce entirely does and how that benefits the village, so if someone could explain that, maybe that would help me change my opinion on this. And then I also have a question about the budget message. And Ms. Bailey, Councilmember Bailey, you wrote that the proposed budget has decreased by $40,886 from last year. And I'm a bit confused of why that is when the tax rate is staying the same. And additionally, the value of real property went up by 1.8%, as it states in the budget message, and the motor vehicle assessments also went up by 6.6%. So how can the budget go down even though the tax rate has stayed the same and the value of property and vehicles has gone up in the village? Thank you very much. Appreciate your consideration.
Anyone else? Okay, come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
I'm Julie Brown. I live on Carly Scott Drive, and I have lived there since before the village became officially a village. And I've served a lot of hats in this community, and we've come a very long way. I have a bag back there. I've been pulling a lot of memorabilia out, but I came up with this as something, T-shirts around here. I've got some from even before when we opened the park, and I think I wore this on our anniversary or whatever. So that obviously tells you where my heart is, and I appreciate everything you're doing to get the park back working the way that we envisioned it to. A lot of people have put their heart and soul in it, and I run into people all the time that say that that is just their heart as well. And we need to do everything we can. I know John is working hard. When I was in college at the ripe old age of 50-some, I actually wrote a paper about John. It was called The Man Behind the Park, and I analyzed his leadership style and everything that we all depended on. One day I'll share that with y'all because I got an A+ on it, and many others that I wrote as I was going through the park journey. So there's so many people, and one thing I've come up with recently, because I'm getting older as we all are, children get older too. We don't have a lot of time to just, it's not wasted time, but we need to work really hard, because, you miss months and years and the use of the park, and that can change a family. So I know you're working really hard. And we've been doing this for a long, long time. I was appointed to the Parks and Rec Committee in November of 2008. as one of the original members. It took us 6 years to even get to this point. So we put heart and soul in it, and sometimes I go out there and I think, my little sign says, "Thank you for your vision." And then I look down from my dogwood tree that's been planted for me, and I look down and I see the pond torn up, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to take my sign up, because that's like, oh, what was your vision? But we've done so much, and we need to keep pushing through, whatever it takes. This is a great idea to try to leverage things. Please do it. The kids are getting older. I'm getting older. Let us see it. Let us see the beauty. Let's get there. But one thing I want to say, Lori, as far as your budget report, maybe this has changed. I was back there listening, and I'm a proofreader at heart, got a legal mind. At the very top, the very first sentence, it says and this is online, it says the fiscal year 2026-2021. Maybe it got changed, but it needs to be changed.
No, I just saw that when I read it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. And I could analyze the numbers. I didn't come here for all that. Maybe I should have, because that's really important. But like I said, Dogwood Park is my heart, and I'm not going to make any apologies for that, honestly. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, I will close the public hearing then and turn it over to council. Your discussion after hearing public comments.
So to address Mr. Down's comments, there's reduced revenue, which is why there's a reduction in the budget, because it has to be a balanced budget of revenue to expenditures, and we have less revenue budgeted. Even though property taxes have gone up, all of the revenue has not gone up. The guidance from NCLM on several different bases of taxes is that they're going down, and they're projected to be lower due to economic conditions in the country.
More specifically, like the
Like
sales
taxes.
tax? Sales tax?
Sales taxes in
Okay.
particular, people aren't spending money, we don't get the money. Alcohol taxes go down because people can't afford to drink, even though they want to drink. So when there's bad economic conditions, towns experience less revenue. Thoughts? So we need to, the first thing in here is the fee schedule. So one of the things we need to officially do is to adopt our fee schedule for the year. So is there any discussion on the fee schedule?
Yes. In light of recent discussions regarding the request for document services from the village, I would like to amend our fee schedule and add in a line under the other fees for an administrative fee to cover document services at an hourly rate of $150. $150, to be very clear on that.
Per hour.
Per hour. To cover our costs associated with those requests.
Any other changes?
You need a second for that motion. Is that a motion?
A motion to amend? Okay, yes, sir.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor of that amendment? Unanimous. And now we need a motion to adopt the fee schedule as amended.
Sure, yeah, motion to adopt it as amended.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
And then the next item is the budget itself. Any questions, comments, or edits, changes?
I just have one comment. I don't have any changes. Regarding the comment tonight about being part of the Chamber of Commerce, we appreciate that feedback. One of the reasons why it is a valuable investment for the village is it gets us in contact with local village leaders. It gives us a forum to go and talk to them. Business leaders, gives us an opportunity to gather their information, see their visions, share our own. Just being on council for a few months, I've already had a number of opportunities to attend their events that otherwise I wouldn't be able to attend, which has put me in contact with other leaders from the community, from Mineral Springs, from Waxhaw. So it is a valuable tool to be able to connect with A, other leaders, other elected leaders, and B, other business leaders and see what they have, because they do have a stake, and we need to know what they're doing in the community. So it really gives us good eyes and ears into what that segment of society is going and pushing for.
All right. So is there a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2026-27 budget?
I will so motion that we adopt the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget as provided.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
And then I can fix the typo in the budget message, but I think we need to also adopt the budget ordinance.
I'll make a motion that we approve the budget ordinance.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous? Anything else for Ms. Bailey, Finance Officer Bailey?
You have just one quick comment. You've done a great job. You've kept us informed. You have been forthright in working for us. It has been a true pleasure going through the Bread and Juice process, which is not something I ever thought I'd imagine saying. But we do appreciate your leadership and your guidance on this rather monotonous and monumental task that you undertake.
Thank you. And thank you for your vote of confidence and your trust in doing this. It's not always easy, but I will let you know I have the best intentions for the village, regardless of my personal opinion on things. It's just to try to make sure that we are spending our money in a fiscally responsible way, which isn't necessarily not spending money, but that we're trying to make the right decisions with the best information we have. And I do feel much better now that we have an audit firm and we can maybe get started on that. And it's a new fiscal year, so I'm looking forward to closing the books and opening a fresh set of books. And hope that next year's better, easier. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that leads to me. Deb was kind enough to attend the women meeting coming last month. I was unable to attend. They will not meet in July. So we'll have to do a double update next time. Code enforcement. We are happy to report that Joe is going to be closing out the Southern Whimsy violation. The only question I have is the sign, Emily. The sign is real ugly. Do we have to allow a commercial sign? No commercial. Could we ask them to take it down?
I mean, yeah, because there's nothing, it's not advertising. I mean, there's not a,
yeah, it's just half spray
business
painted.
on premise. Yeah, so.
Is that something we would do, or I'd ask Joe to do?
Send them a friendly letter.
Would you do that? Send them a friendly letter and ask them to remove the sign that is for nothing. I don't know if council noticed too, but that old house got torn down real quickly on 84, like real quick. But they did an excellent job cleaning up after themselves.
Yeah, Southern Whimsy should have learned them.
Yeah, for real. And then Amy shared this other, and I know Joe is working really diligently. We have received several calls, and just for the general public, like this company came highly recommended to us, and they have worked really hard to try to clean up several properties and issues that we have had. Code enforcement is not easy. And often we lose money in the code enforcement process. But if you get a letter, don't call me to complain. Call Joe directly. Call Alliance Code Enforcement and discuss the violation that happened on your property. We have hired Alliance Code Enforcement to handle that work for us. So if you call me to complain about the letter you got sent, I'm going to say call Joe. Call Alliance Code Enforcement. because so far they seem to be doing a great job. For our sign sweep, Amy shared this information. I thought it was very wonderful to hear. We did reach out. I did ask Emily. We got a resident complaint, and we did ask Emily to reach out to the Bluffs at Wesley Chapel, which coincidentally are not located in Wesley Chapel, but they decorated the village with hundreds of signs recently. And a question for you, George. We did have a person impersonating the planning and zoning officer. We had a person who claimed to be the planning and zoning administrator and was going around talking to people, putting out signs and telling them that all signs and permits went through them, which was not true. In the future, if we have someone impersonating the planning and zoning officer, is there a path we should move forward? Should we reach out to law enforcement?
Probably call the sheriff's office. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's a state crime, impersonating. I mean, that's a state officer in essence. So I would probably call the sheriff's office.
Okay. Because we did have someone impersonating our planning and zoning officer. So we will advise residents and staff to call the sheriff's office if that continues. Because Emily was not side of the road instructing people not to put out signs. It was not Emily. All right, thank you,
Yep.
Attorney. But Amy shared this information. Since Tristan started working with us on pulling signs in March 2024, in 2024 he pulled 811 signs. In 2025 he pulled 942 signs. And so far this year he's pulled 392 signs. So we are real. I mean, I have seen the positive impact on his work. So if you residents, if you see some ugly signs out there, please let Amy know, and we will get them handled as soon as possible. But I think Tristan has done a great job, and that is a lot of signs to be pulled in our little village. So I just wanted to share that with you. Yes, ma'am.
On code enforcement, is it possible that we can ask Joe for like a running commentary? I know we get this like list for status as of this moment, but now that he's been doing this for a year, here's all of the ones that have been done, remediated, so we can start seeing if there's recurrence or not, given some of the comments we heard tonight. Just might be easier for us if there's like, hey, here for the last year, this is everything we found and what was done, something like that. I'm sure they probably have some sort of standard report.
Would you want this quarterly, annually?
What do you think? I think quarterly would be nice, but I don't want it to be onerous, but I just think it takes time to remediate some of them, and now you got to get to a cycle, and people are like, oh, they're not looking at me anymore. They start to come back. I'm sure Joe's looking at it, but I think it'd be good for this body to be aware of that.
That seems reasonable. Fire district, there is no update. I get no response to my emails to the county. And then item D, the Board of Adjustment and Planning Board member reappointments. Amy, will you speak to that?
Yes, the Board of Adjustment, all members, we have one vacancy, which we received a request from a planning board member to be on that committee, or excuse me, that board. But that will be, I just did receive her application today, so that will go on July's meeting. But all other members of the Board of Adjustment, their terms have expired and they do wish to continue the service. Right now, the term ending date they are appointed today, they will expire on June 30th, 2029, which leads to the question of, it was my understanding when we created the policy and procedure manuals when our previous clerk did that they were supposed to be alternating term ending dates or start term dates. So in the future, we're wondering if we could try this, if we should stagger it, continue to stagger it, or just leave them as is for now, where everybody serves the same time. But if we want to go ahead and move with the current appointments, we can, and then maybe revisit in the near future. And planning board will just have one person whose term has expired, and they do have staggered dates, and she wishes to continue. And the comments page has everybody's names. We can list them individually, or if you want to do a blanket reappointment, we can do it that way.
So we're not in a position to, I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said about the planning board member. We had one seat expire.
Yes.
And are we not in a position tonight to reappoint that?
Yes.
We are.
We are.
Okay.
Trying to get to their names.
I could list them real quick. For planning board, Sandra Burke. And for board of adjustment, it's the chair, Henry Byron Jr., Frank Capella, Joel Down, Karen Izzo, Francesca Masrigos, and William Worley Jr., and which still leaves the opening, and Debbie Royce was the person who applied for that. And I don't think we have any potential board of adjustment meetings coming up, so.
Yeah. So did we, I'm trying to remember, who was it that we appointed most recently to the planning board?
It was Debbie Royce
Okay,
as an
that's what I
alternate.
thought, it was Debbie Royce. And we had another gentleman who was interested at the time, and I thought we left it that if there was something else that came up. So did we advertise the opening for the board of adjustment?
No,
He
because
withdrew.
she wants to continue.
So she would point to a board of adjustment and planning board?
Now, yes, she just requested to be on board of adjustment.
But we're talking about our planning board and seat.
I'm confused, I'm sorry.
We're just reappointing Sandra to her seat. There's no other openings for planning board.
That person also, the other interested party, withdrew his application. So I can't find it in the agenda packet. I'm sorry, Amy. So we need a motion to reappoint Sandra Burke to her planning board seat effective with the term ending what date?
June 30th, 2029.
Is there a motion?
Motion to reappoint Sandra Burke to the planning board for a term ending June 30th, 2029.
Is there a second?
Second one, I have a question.
Sure.
Has she been actively involved with the meetings up until now?
Very.
Yes, okay.
Even coming after she had knee surgery.
Okay.
So all in favor? And then the second motion that we need, and we can probably do it all at once, is to reappoint all existing Board of Adjustment members. Say their names one more time, Amy. Frank Capella, Francesca
Masragos, Karen Izzo, William Worley Jr., and Butch Byron Jr.
To the Board of Adjustment with term ending dates of
Currently 2029.
Is there a motion?
No motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Does that cover everybody, Amy?
Yes.
All right, now we're going to turn it over to the planning board.
And so we're not appointing Debbie Royce to the board of adjustment.
We haven't seen those applications yet. He just recently applied.
Just today.
She just recently applied.
Okay.
So we will do that and,
Gotcha. I think it's why I can't.
okay, sorry.
Thank you.
All right, Emily?
Okay.
Or Chair Henry?
He's like, fine.
Okay. June 8th. What a beautiful day. My wife's birthday, by the way, today.
Happy birthday.
The wife, yes.
For your wife.
All wonky calendars. What happens on June 14th? Flag Day. And also,
Father's Day.
no, that's 21st. You're a little early. Okay. United States Army, 1775. 251. Okay, planning board meeting that we had. Yay, Aurora, the Greek project. Good. Issues were mailbox should be on other side of road. Always, road should have bigger view because of trucks and traffic. We all know it's supposed to be 45. Let's hope they drive 45. Project is lovely, not a lot of homes. 36? 35, not bad. 35. Beautiful, gated, right? No issues there. The issue was mailboxes only on one side of the street. A little difficult to cross the road to get. Hopefully, somebody approves them to be on the other side of the street.
Nothing yet?
No movement.
No movement.
Postmaster.
So it's up to the post office. They have it going up one, I'll call it the north side, the bigger side, and then they would have to cross that road to get there. And obviously the line of sight there on 45 mile with the median and the traffic lane, which should be bigger, but it's not going to be, because we have to go by DOT standards. But outside of that, lovely program. Plaque. Haven't seen it move, but the plaque's good. It all works out. It's all within our guidelines, so it's fine. That was about it. That's the only thing we had on the agenda that day, besides some small talk and little projects that we were looking at. That's all.
How about the critical intersection?
I'm sorry? Oh, the critical intersection? Oh, yes. We voted on the critical intersection, and there was A or B. And it was... Yes. Just like good people, they wanted A and B, and have you make the decision. So A, as we recall, was the traffic light, correct? Mm-hmm. And B is, my words, the pork chop, the traffic medium in the middle, right? Which obviously is a lot less expensive, but there are issues with that. Okay, the traffic light is easier, but then you will eventually hit the backlog until the traffic circle is up and running. And if there's anybody who drives Wesley Chapel Road in the morning rush hour or the evening rush hour, the traffic circle at Potter Wesley Chapel is always backed up to the point that it just stops sometimes. So.
Can we have that publicized or something? I think we kind of raised that as a concern.
It is. It comes to an absolute standstill.
I know.
AM and PM. I know you did that. And I understand the timing of the light, but the timing of the light on 84 backs up, and it backs up to Pinnacle and beyond. And then the same side on going towards Monroe. It backs up all the way to, what is that, Allison up there on the hill? The subdivision? It's Addison is the subdivision. It backs up that far. So it's not getting, it's better, but it's still backed up at the A rush. But that was it for the traffic circle. I was ecstatic to hear that we will be getting a traffic light, I don't want to spoil the fun, at the four-way stop sign / flashing light. And I like the fact that they threw us a freebie on that one. We'll see why. All right, that's all I have.
Which intersection?
What?
Which intersection with the light?
Oh, DOT's gracious enough to give us a traffic light at Newtown and Billy Howard. Yeah. That's all. And she'll take over.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
So the first item is the infrastructure and development update. In front of you, you have the most recent map. I downloaded it today from Aspen. And there is one new business. There is a Mexican restaurant called Aye Caramba Cava and Grill.
Aye Caramba.
Aye Caramba, sorry. I didn't take Spanish. I took French and Latin. So that's the newest update. Is that I looked it up. It's a Mexican restaurant in Monroe right now. So that's the update for Aston.
So they're across from the east.
Yeah, it's basically across the east.
So we'll have a Mexican restaurant, a Latin grill, and a Taco Bell.
Hey, we have a creek.
No, I was just talking in that vein.
Oh, okay.
Just in the support list.
Emily, there are a lot of resident questions and speculation. Would there be any problem with Amy? Is it bad business to download this picture and have Amy put it on her Facebook page?
I mean, I got it off their website.
For inquiring minds who want to know.
I mean, it was not even called, proprietary. They have it on their public website, so.
Council, would you be okay with that if Amy were to share this on Facebook and say,
Here's the list.
right, the bill, you see all the construction, here's the latest update.
I would post the link. I wouldn't post the document. That way, if they change it and update it, that link always goes to the most recent.
I think yeah.
Because I expect them with some of these unknowns. to
Some of these under
populate.
negotiations, yeah.
I was going to say, you're not kidding about, I've been asked multiple times this week about Alta Beauty and Hobby Lobby.
Five Guys and and a brewery. And I'm like, I don't know. So Amy, we'll work on a link to that.
Sure.
If you don't mind, get with council's approval.
Actually, I thought I already posted it. Something, I'll double check. Maybe I didn't.
Okay.
So I'll check.
If you can find one, just ask me, I'll find it. But yeah, as I said, it's on their public website, so but I think posting a link would be good. That way it's not something
You
static.
see the construction, click the link to
Here
find
it
out
is.
more. All right. Thank you.
So we have, next item on the agenda is Aurora at Price Mills preliminary plat. So Shea Homes is proposing to develop a 35-lot conservation subdivision on 79.54 acres. I call it Aurora at Price Mill. The development is proposed on two sides of Weddington Road, with 22 lots on the north side and the other lots on the south side. The development will be gated and have properly maintained roads. Over 65% of the development is in common open space. The sketch plan for the subdivision was approved on June 1st, 2023. The preliminary plat has been reviewed and meets all the requirements for a conservation major subdivision. Engineering has reviewed the plans and are satisfied with recommending approval for the preliminary plat. NCDOT has approved access to Weddington Road for the development. Union County Public Works has conditionally approved all the plans. And the Planning Board recommended approval of the preliminary plat at their meeting on May 18th. And they also made a second motion to recommend that the mail kiosks be permitted on each side of the development so that the residents do not have to cross Weddington Road to pick up the mail. As they discussed, it's either going to cause more traffic or people stopping in on one side if they live on the other side to pick up their mail, might send their kids over. We thought it was not a wise choice. And as the developer is here and can state, they've been trying to talk to them. But as far as anything we as the village could do, we thought a strongly worded motion from y'all to send to the postmaster would help. And that's about all.
Stressing the dangers of
Yes.
NC84.
So, as I stated, if this has been reviewed, you also in your packet have a copy of the gate plans, with the signage for the development.
Council, do you have, the developer is here. Do you have any questions? Would you come on up? I hope you have enjoyed the show tonight.
It's always fun during the summer budget time. Connor Horn with Shea Homes. I live at 1416 West 4th Street in Charlotte, North Carolina, on behalf of the developer Shea.
I'll go first. I got a couple of questions. Absolutely understand and agree with the mailbox thing. That makes perfect sense. The comment about Union County Public Works and conditionally approve the plans?
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means that the plans are sufficiently meeting their guidelines, and now we have started the state permit process. So
For water and sewer from the county?
yeah, so the county is good with the plans, and then the state has to document everything. That process can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. We started that back in March.
And so the plan is to go onto the water and sewer, not to have individual septics.
Correct.
And then the other was difficult for me to tell. I do go through that big old hole in there. The intersection with 84.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a? Is it going to be divided for turn lane? It looked like there were a couple of options in there. What are we looking at that intersection? Will it be a median or?
Yeah, there's, it will be widening into 3 lanes wide in that area. There's dedicated left turn lanes into each side.
So you will be allowed to make a left turn off of 84?
Correct. And there is, I believe it's 100 or 125 feet of stacking in each direction.
So my question, Emily, then is,
Yes.
why is DOT allowing left turns into there, but they wouldn't allow left turns into McCoy Farms?
Good answer.
Traffic circle.
Is it just the circle?
Too close. They need,
Why does it matter? It's stopped and backed up anyway.
it's the distance from an intersection like that, traffic circle, to go to the line of sight for you to come up.
Well, so
They wouldn't make it in time.
yeah, I still think you're confident about the line of sight. Any, to this point about the line of sight, any other input from DOT? Because 45 is really a suggestion that's not followed very well.
All I can say is we've met every requirement for line of sight on that, and the DOT does have a slight buffer in their calculations for that, but I believe our line of sight on this project is about 500 feet in each direction is the minimum.
And I still don't understand why we can't be 35 if you can go through on Providence Road, Highway 16 at 35. Why 84 can't be 35?
And I know you don't have the plan, but that's where you're coming down to the dip where the creek is.
Mm-hmm.
So down on going to Field's house, going to Pinnacle, the entrance is closer to Pinnacle, going up on that side. So as you know, they have the tree growth.
Yep.
And there are no street lights there at all. It's just dark.
Yep.
And in the wintertime, that will ice up faster than everywhere else because it doesn't get the sun. So that's the whole thing. Like, that's a lot of traffic going across that road, especially when it gets dark earlier, since we still have daylight savings time. It is a safety concern for that stretch of road right there. But NCDOT says it's okay.
That whole road is a safety concern. No, I don't really have any other questions. I think I was pleased to see it was gated, just from the standpoint where it's located. I feel like that can help with some potential problems.
The plans for the gate and the walk, there's enough entrance to get the cars off the road. The streets, are going to be private. It's just where that's going to sit to get across, and then it's going to go down. And it's always shady there.
Well, it can't be any less safe than coming out pricing also. But thank you. Any further questions?
Mike, from my years on the planning board, the concerns are always the cluster mailboxes and the street lights. I agree with the mailboxes. I think that's, and I also understand that there's not much that any of us can do if the Postal Service says that's what's required. So, I think to your point, Emily, if we strongly encourage USPS to look at that, maybe it'll bring some recognition. I don't know. As far as streetlights, all those check per our code.
Ours, where the neighborhood is, are fine. There are rules that you cannot, streetlights without DOT approval cannot go out into the roadway for illumination without their approval.
I'm talking about within the community, with the spacing.
Yeah, that's looked at before the final plat.
Okay. And then the only other thing that I would add is just to applaud you. I mean, the look of the neighborhood is great, but more than that, maintaining the history of that area and putting in Price Mill Creek into the name. My family, my grandmother was part of the Price family that owned the mill and the store there on that property. So knowing that continues is important to me. Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
My other question was about storm drainage and flooding. I saw the note that it's like a 1% risk, and given some other conversations that we've had with FEMA maps and plans, are we pretty comfortable with the?
Yes, these are definitely mapped out. It's outside, because what our ordinance requires is that there is enough lot outside of the floodplain for them to be able to build on. And I believe it's actually all in the open space. So yes,
I mean, it looked like it was all protected, and in my experience with a terrain, it looks like it would.
Yeah. So engineers looked at it. I've looked at it as far as floodplain regulations. Yes.
And what's your price point?
Current projection is starting around 1.4.
I know it's just building a plat, but when we get to see the final plats like that, we just want to make sure that the roundabouts are roundabout, that they should turn around with the garbage truck and whatnot, since they're going to be private roads and not DOT.
Yeah, well, engineering looked at the roads to make sure that even though they're going to be private roads, they still have to comply with DOT standards. So our engineer has looked at all that.
Any further questions for the planner or the developer? Then I would need a motion from council to either conditionally approve modifications or deny the preliminary plat, and then potentially make a second motion about the USPS.
Can we approve the preliminary plat with the mailboxes on either side of the road?
No, we can't.
That can't be a condition if it's not our control.
Right. The reason why we did two different motions was because I didn't want to. If the Postal Service says no and you've approved it, requiring them to have the two different ones, then they're going to have to come back. So that's why we did different motions instead of holding them to that, because it's going to be up to the Postal Service whether or not if they allow them to do that.
Okay. So council?
So you're looking for a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Roar at Price Mill Creek?
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
And I'll also make a motion that we communicate to the developers as well as USPS how important it is that we feel that there are mailboxes on both sides to minimize possible human injury
From the dangerous
Highway
crossing.
84.
Yeah. So we're going to ask the developer. Oh wait, is there a second?
Second.
So we will ask that we'll have the developer say that the village strongly wanted it, and could we have Emily reach out to? Say we really.
Yeah, it's okay. So, do I have permission to write a letter to U.S. Postal Service from the village
Because it could have been two separate subdivisions.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they have that parcel, they bought both parcels on the east side of the road to develop as one subdivision, I think is less common than if it had been two separate subdivisions. And had they been two separate subdivisions, they would have each had their own cluster mailbox.
Yeah. And somebody will cross that road and get hit. Somebody will cross that road and get hit. They'll pull up, park, and then cross, and it'll be ugly. So, any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Emily, your next item?
Yes, next item is the Union County Critical Intersection Phase 4. This phase, like I said, this is Phase 4 of this. The Union County, just to give you a little bit of background, Union County is partnering with NCDOT, CRTPO, and several municipalities within Union County to develop and design cost estimates to improve 6 intersections throughout the county in order to reduce traffic congestion and improve safety. This project is not for funding, does not provide funding, but it's the design and cost estimate developed through a study to be able to be used for future implementation, grant applications. In Wesley Chapel, for this phase, it was, we were looking at Newtown Road and Lester Davis Road. So currently, it's a 3-way intersection with stop control intersections without left turn lanes. Newtown and Lester Davis have 45-mile-per-hour speed limits, and because there are no turn lane, drivers often have trouble finding safe openings in traffic to make left turns, which leads to backups and delays. The adjacent project at Newtown Road and Cuthbertson Road is currently in the right-of-way acquisition phase, with construction estimated to be complete in 2029. It proposes a roundabout which would accommodate left turns eliminated under alternate number 2. So there was opportunities for people to give to fill out surveys. We also had a public information meeting. The surveys had 40 respondents to that, and it basically fell almost half and half as to alternate 1 and alternate 2. And then for our public meeting, we had, there were 5 people that came to that virtual meeting. And again, it was sort of half and half as to where it fell. In your package, you can see what the cost estimates are for alternate 1 and alternate 2. Alternate 1 is the proposed signal, and alternate 2 is a reduced conflict intersection. Based on the public meeting, the public information sessions that we had, the surveys that we had, and discussions with Union County staff and also our consultants, we recommended to actually have y'all recommend to the county both alternates, because this is just a plan, and that way it doesn't limit which alternate is ultimately decided on. Things can change. We've got a roundabout coming in down the street, and that is actually what Planning Board did, is they recommended the adoption of both alternates for the report. Like I said, the consultants think that's a wise idea. Union County Traffic, Bjorn thinks that's a good idea, to actually instead of picking one, because you've got public input that's pretty close for both of them, is to just go ahead and put both of them into the report. So then when it comes down to actually doing the project, you're able to look at the cost estimates at that time and make a decision at a later date. A lot of the other ones, normally we don't do this. A lot of the other ones for Wesley Chapel and other ones in the reports, there's a definite clear winner based on calls based on benefits, challenges, everything, but these were so close that everybody felt that it was, you know, you're not, to not have to pick one right now.
So that I'm concerned by that for a couple of reasons. One is 2.1 million, one's 1.8 million.
Yeah.
And so we kick this can down the road. At some point, somebody's like, "Well, we're just going to go with the lesser cost option." But when I look at the option 2, which is the lower cost option, it only reduces the crashes 14% versus 32%. You can't make a left turn off of Lester Davis. And so where are they going to go?
To the roundabout. If they turn right.
Right, because we know that was working so well for these people to go so far out of their way to a roundabout. That may or may not be backed up.
Yeah.
Once it's built. It just, I'm sorry, I'm a little jaded on that subject, but it just doesn't feel great to say we think one that only reduces crashes by 14% is just as good as one that does 32% reduction. That doesn't feel very good. That's just my opinion.
Well, I agree. That stuck out to me, and also the main thing is with the reduced conflict option, there's going to be people that are going to make an immediate U-turn as soon as they get on Newtown. They're not going to go to the roundabout. I don't see how that really is a viable solution.
Does DOT care what we think?
Well, yes, that's why. These are just our recommendations. Y'all would be voting on however you would like to vote, and then this will go to Union County, who will compile all of the municipalities' reports into one report.
So which municipalities, is this intersection completely in Wesley Chapel?
It is.
So what other municipality would have a say over this?
Oh, no, not this one. I'm sorry. There's other intersections.
The other parts, other ones on the
Yes,
list.
so they put all those into one big report.
Yes, I know.
Okay,
They're
sorry.
recommended 5 or 6 at 4.
Yeah, that's, I didn't mean,
Sorry.
they were voting on, they're voting on theirs.
So you heard what Emily said, the recommendation. And I can make a motion however you feel that.
Then I'll put it out on the table. I recommend that we make a motion that we present the proposed signal option as our recommendation.
All right, is there a second?
I second it.
Discussion? You know what you two think?
I just think with all the development and changes that are going on in that area, it's very difficult to judge what's going to give the greatest flexibility in the future, especially with the roundabout going to Newtown. You know, if it takes even a quarter as long as it took just to put that turn lane on there, we might have it by 2050. So, but at the end of the day, I think that the proposed signal gives us the greatest flexibility for future changes or future needs in that intersection, as opposed to putting in the Port Truck, which David is 100% right. People will just pull a U-turn as soon as they get off there and not even go to the roundabout.
All right, so all in favor of recommending option 1 with the signal? Unanimous. Option 1.
Got to start saving that. Our share of 2.1 million.
Yeah, start saving.
We are. Only what, 30% local match?
Oh, bless us. All right, and then item D will be postponed. So, Emily, do you have anything else? Chair Kennedy, do you have anything else?
No.
I'm just curious. Of the median there at McCoy Farms, how many tire tracks we've seen going across it? I hadn't noticed any, but I'm just kind of curious how many cars are making a left turn there. Just over the median.
Yeah, but none yet because there's
There's
no
no one
finished
living there.
homes.
There's a lot of people working in there.
Yes.
None yet. None yet.
Curious.
Well, I'll give you an example. If you saw the Indian Trail Road by the new ABC store in Indian Trail, that's a right in, right out. They drive right across that.
Yeah, they do.
Sober.
Hopefully so. It is very inconvenient. As is almost 74.
So if you look at it from our angle in our village, Newtown and Billy Howell, they have a traffic light. You'll drive down to a traffic circle, drive across the new bridge, I'll call it, go to a traffic light, to the roundabout, the new roundabout, and then you'll be clear all the way until you get to Innis Road's roundabout.
We're still not as much as Marvin would bring up from.
Yeah, Marvin has, that's three in a row.
We have aspirations, yeah. We can't afford it. Emily, Chair Kenry did bring up the money that we were awarded, or not we, the money someone else got to make Newtown and
Billy Howell.
a signal.
Yeah.
Would you care to share that with council?
I thought
we
nothing's
talked about
changed
it,
since
yeah.
last time, so that's.
And remind me when it might happen? 2050.
Pull up my, like, pull up the spreadsheet.
No, but I would just like to point out that when we were talking about the critical intersection at Billy Howey and Waxahachie Indian Trail, one of the things I really objected to was not doing nothing at Newtown and Billy Howey, which I thought was like a bigger problem than Waxahachie Indian Trail. So it's really good to see that both ends of that road are getting addressed. And that's probably some of the benefit we're seeing to that CRTPO technical committee that Emily's serving on, that is considering the bigger picture for a lot of that stuff.
So actually, I don't know. I don't have any dates for that. I just know we got the spot mobility funds. So.
Well, maybe we can find a date to share with y'all.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, we didn't have our CRTPO meeting this month, so I haven't gotten any updates. All I can do is check the website.
Well, I mean in July.
Yes. So
Maybe
July,
we'll have-
hopefully. Yes.
And so the spreadsheet that you had created
Yes,
for
ma'am.
us, I think that having that and you updating that as you get updates and all be good. And that might
Yes.
be something else to put on the website.
Oh, yeah, we could.
In some way or shape or form, right? That these things are going on.
Yeah, these projects are on the list.
Yeah, so we don't
Already
have any
progress.
control. We want them as fast as everyone else.
But that's why I didn't give y'all a new spreadsheet, because I had no new information from last
Yeah.
month.
But as we were talking about other stuff, I was like, oh, that was good information. We could share that. All right, thank you, Planning Board Chair and Emily. We appreciate it. That brings us to Dogwood Park update.
Yeah. So good evening, Council. Just one general update. Last month, Council talked about the difficulties in accepting donations. I highlighted, I think there are revenue opportunities from the mini golf course, and Council expressed the difficulties in dealing with donations. That's not something new. If you've been around long enough, you will maybe recognize Wesley Chapel's Friends of Parks and Recreation. It's a 501(c) that was formed 12 years ago, maybe longer than 12 years ago.
I don't know. I think I got some T-shirts.
So that organisation is a 501(c). It had a bank account. It did fundraising. It accepted donations as Friends of Parks and Recreation for Wesley Chapel. And then when the park needed something that wasn't in the budget, or, they made a donation to the park with council's approval, using the funds they'd done, using fundraisers and the donations they collected. Unfortunately, one of the principals of that organisation passed away, Diana Bowler. The remaining principal, the former council member, Sandra Bradford, wasn't going to continue it. However, I reached out to her and I found out that legal entity still exists. It still has a bank account, no money in the bank account, or next to no money, but the organisation still exists, is able to receive donations. They haven't got people to do fundraisers, but there's a mechanism outside of the difficulties making donations direct to the village that could accept donations and then use those funds to purchase things for the mini golf course, golf clubs, golf balls, that kind of stuff. Does council have any objection to us reactivating the Westwood Chapel Friends and Parks and Recreation?
I don't think that's really up to us. I think it's up to whoever wants to organize it and run it.
Right, so Sandra doesn't want to run it. I mean, I'd be happy to do it, but if that's an issue, then I can find another volunteer that would be happy to run it.
Yeah, I think that's crossing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it needs to be a whole separate entity from,
Okay.
from the
And
village.
then I'll just find another volunteer to step up, take it from Sandra,
Yeah.
and continue doing it. And if people want to make donations, they do it to Westwood Chapel Friends of Parks and Recreation.
And then we're completely hands off until they come to donate money.
Until they've got money, and I tell them we need some golf clubs, we need some golf balls, whatever we need, trophies for a competition. Maybe they could even do a fundraiser at one of the golf
You gotta
competitions.
start getting people first, and then we're
That's always the problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
I already got somebody identified
I
that's
thought
willing
that
to take
they,
it.
when they said they wanted to get out, even before Diana died, was that it was just done. I didn't realize it was still a legal entity.
Yes, it is. I confirmed with Sandra last week. Anyway, on to the pond. I am so happy with this new contractor. They are going so fast. It's great. I'm loving it. So, you will recall the minimum amount to be removed was 2,400 cubic yards for $173,004. That comes out to a cubic yard rate of $72.09, which we know from all the bidding is an absolutely great rate. So far, as of 4 p.m. today, we have moved 90 truckloads, or approximately 900 cubic yards. So we are 38% into muck removal. Incredible. We got a rainstorm in the middle, 3.39 inches in 12 hours. Put us back 3 days because the pond just filled up. It was incredible. It took us 3 days to get back where it was solid enough we could start work again. But as of today, we're 900 cubic yards in. So their estimate, if the weather holds up, today at 4 o'clock was within the next 2 to 3 days will be almost up to the bridge. His current guess is that's going to take about another 80 truckloads, or it'll be another 800 cubic yards. So that'll bring us, by the end of the week, all being good, without any rain, to 1,700 cubic yard, or 71% of the minimum volume. That leaves us, for the contract value, 700 cubic yard for backing out. So if you've been to the park, you'll see they've created a horizontal surface to drive the trucks onto to load into as they move them up. As they back out, they'll change that grade from horizontal because they won't be driving trucks on it. It'll be the pond. So they'll back out, but the backing out is not going to use up the full 700 cubic yard we got in the minimum volume. So they're likely to be able to move some more muck closer towards the pier, further towards the dam, to take us to the minimum. So the question is, at this really low rate of $72.09 a cubic yard, how far can we keep going with the grant money? So if the grant money available was $240,000, is it 230?
You didn't get the email I sent?
I didn't read it.
You got somebody left.
Okay, so there's an additional 53,000 left, is what you're saying.
No, yes, after you, if I, so,
Okay.
can I say that? Oh, okay. So what I did, just to explain to everybody, is the best estimate we have right now is that our balance will be about $235,199. There's still some things flowing through.
Yeah.
We know we're going to have some legal expenses since that 5/14 when that calculation was done. We've got some revenue since then coming in at the end of the month. Amy, we had approved her for our engineering contract of $10,000, which I assume as soon as they finish, she's going to do something. She's going to do some inspection or something.
Yeah, she did one visit last week.
So we hadn't had a bill for that.
Right.
And
she's going to do one visit at the end to just sign off that it's all been done in accordance.
Yeah, but we approved $10,000. I estimate that we may get another $700 in revenue for interest. It's hard to say because we're drawing money down. And then the contract that we agreed to with Lynn Thomas, $173,004. And so if you kind of take all that out, it looks like $53,230 available to spend.
So the amount Amy did for the renewal temp, it's very unlikely we're going to spend that much because it's only as she comes out and builds time. So for this project, I don't see us using anywhere near that $10,000.
But that's the contract we signed with.
Right. I get that. So let's just go with these numbers. We've got 53 left. So I calculate that if we had 57,000 left over, at the rate, we could move another 790 cubic yards at the $72.09. That would likely take us round the corner and maybe down in front of the pier, halfway along the pier, because that's another 79 truckloads. That to me says, at this, we're almost all the way to the dam. If you guys say, go ahead and tell Lynn Thomas Grading, we've got an extra $53,000, go ahead and move another $53,000 worth. That'll take us very close to the dam. So that raised to me a question that you need to think about, that if we get that close, if we leave finishing the rest as was in the plan, because we've run out of grant money, until we fix the dam, is that the most efficient way to do it? Because would it be more cost effective to complete the clean out, right? While we've got this contractor mobilised, and while we've got such a low rate, $72. Are we going to have that same $72 per cubic yard rate 12 months from now when we fix the dam? I don't know. And then the thought was, would it be better to take some money from the $250 we've already put aside for the dam repair to complete the clean out while we've got the guy on site, while we've got him mobilised, and while we've got this $72 rate? Or do we just go to the 53 limit and stop and leave all the rest to some point in the future?
I think when we go to repair this dam, we're going to have mobilization teams out there and whatnot, so I don't think that cost should be a consideration. Now, the muck removal itself is a different question. $70, but I mean, because when we replace that dam, there's going to be a lot of work done. And are we potentially causing other issues? Has Amy looked at and seen what muck removal all up to the dam would do to the integrity of the dam as it exists today?
I talked to Amy today, and she said it has no impact on the permitting, DEQ, don't care, we're not going beyond the disturbance limits, we're not raising the level of the water beyond the breach level, so I think there's no downside to finishing it. And there's a potential upside if at some point in the future, a year from now, we don't get a $72 rate, $800 a cubic yard. And we know from the bidding cycles we've been through, this $72 rate is incredible. I'm happy either way. I'm just laying it on you that it may be more cost effective to get that muck cleaned out now. But I'm happy to go to Lynn Thomas tomorrow and say, we've got an extra $53,230 divided by $72.09. Move me another, whatever the result is, that many more cubic yards before you stop. So, number one, am I okay with telling them they can go ahead and add an additional $53,230 worth of muck removal?
Do you think you could? I know we have budgeted $10,000 for Amy. Do you think she knows a better estimate of how long that?
I mean, it was, I think, the first one we did was like $10,000. It's like, it's kind of like LaBelle and everybody else. It's like, hey, is this chunk of change? And that's got to cover her actual services, travel, expenses, whatever.
She tends to make visits to the park when she's in town for other business. So the discussion we had with her is once during it to make sure they're doing everything the way she wanted to do it, and once at the very end to say, yes, they've completed the work in accordance with the plan she wrote.
Yeah.
So there's only 2 visits. And I can't see being $5,000 a visit to come to the park for an hour.
Yeah. I think some of the other bills that we've gotten her have ranged up to $7,000. But without going back and looking at the details of them, it's hard to say, oh, that $7,000 bill was when she was drawing out the whole plan. Right? I don't know. Without going back and looking at it.
The big expense was drawing the plans.
Yeah.
And chasing the permits and all that stuff.
Yeah. Because I do tend to agree with you that if it's literally just an inspection, that shouldn't be $10,000 to do 2 inspections.
She's so great to work with. Do you
She's
think
awesome.
you
She
could
is awesome.
ask her if she thinks it may be more like $8,000 instead of?
Yeah, I can ask her, but I will have answered tonight when I'm making it to make a decision about how much to tell Lynn grading we can continue to move.
But we could, because gosh knows we've done plenty of it tonight, say up to this based on Amy's input. Right, or something to that effect.
Because as soon as they're finished, once I tell them this is the amount of muck to move, when they're finished, they're going to demobilize them and be gone.
And he's not sending any bills yet that I've seen.
Sorry?
I've not seen any invoices yet.
I know, they should be coming any time. They've moved.
Yeah, okay.
As
I
of
just want to
4
make sure
o'clock.
you haven't either, so. Oh my God.
So you should be getting 900 times 72 pretty soon. Well, by the end of the week, it'll be 1,700 times 72.
Please use your new credit card and buy your notebook.
Instead of paper. I bet you they're freebies from some donation.
They are.
So the 53 does include the $10,000 fee,
Right.
possible fee for
Right. So it
taken off of
it could be
Take off
it could be as much as 63,000 if Amy was 0.
Right. In which case, 67,000 moves 929 cubic yards and probably gets me to the end of the pier and leaves 20, 30 feet to be cleared.
Has she made progress visits since he's been on site? One
last week.
Okay.
And that was what we discussed. So I'm her eyes and ears, and I'm calling and feeding back when there's any question with the contractor. So I'm giving her frequent updates, and then I wanted her to physically be on site and just make sure she was good with all the sediment control. She came on site, sediment control's good, no mud being dragged on the road. She loved what they were doing. And then, as I said, the plan is she'll come back at the end to say, yep, all good.
I think I'm in agreement with Lori here that I don't think we can give you all into the dam. I don't think we have the money, but I do think that we should empower the mayor to find out how much we're going to have left over from Amy's 10,000 and then put that towards the 53,000, and that's what we can tell.
Well, I could call Amy and ask her, but
Empower staff.
so I'll call Amy and ask her how much she's going to bill us for the visit she made already, and how much she'll be billing us for
Did she say only one more visit?
the final visit. So if she, for example, let's say the visit I already made was $2,000, and the last visit I'm going to make is $2,000. That's $4,000. Leaves $6,000. Can I add the $6,000 to the 53 and tell Lynn Thomas Grading you've actually got 59,320 based on Amy's
And then
tells
we
me
spend,
what she hasn't yet invoiced us for.
and then we spend close to every penny of that grant.
Then that will be every penny, pretty much.
So I don't object to going over the 250 with hundreds of dollars,
No.
but I object to going thousands
No.
over the grant amount, because this is very difficult trying to estimate this because of some of the bookkeeping things and the fluidity and the timing of some of the stuff. And so I don't want to fall short of the 250, but if we come out at 250, 300,
And just a
I
question.
don't think that's bad.
On here, there is nothing related to the previous contractor.
There's nothing there.
Have we heard anything from the previous contractor? The good news is...
not since that lawyer reached out, whatever that was.
Right, so...
Over a month ago.
Our last request to the previous contractor was come remove your mats. Right, by a certain date. He didn't do that. He said they'd be back to us. Is that right? So what happened is the previous contractor sold the mats to the existing contractor, and the existing contractor is using them for the job. So the former contractor has received compensation or got money back from the mats. But we assume, is it safe to assume, if we haven't heard anything by now, we're not going to hear anything more from the guy about any kind of claim of money's owed?
That's an assumption.
No.
No, it's not.
Safe to assume that?
No. Okay.
Definitely not.
That's it.
Until the statute of limitation runs, then it's safe to assume that.
Right, so then the question is, do we have to find the funds in this as a contingency in case something like that happens, or are we going to deal with that happening from somewhere else, like from the dam?
Yeah, and the other problem is we're at the end of this fiscal year. So while we can spend this grant money and totally finish it up in June, which I would love to be done with this grant and this fund and all the other crap that goes with it, would be great. But then if anything else happens, we're not talking about the next fiscal year's budget to cover other expenses. Or assigned fund balance, unassigned fund balance, contingency, whatever, just to be clear.
All right, so just so I understand the actions, I will call Amy tomorrow, first thing, say, how much have you not yet invoiced us for the visit you made last week? How much are you going to invoice us for the final inspection visit? I'll subtract the sum of those two from the 10,000 and then add that amount to the 53,320 to get a total muck out budget, and then I can tell Lynn Thomas Grading at $72.09 a cubic yard, go ahead and move X additional cubic yards and then stop.
Sounds good to me.
That's yes, everybody's nodding.
Is that a motion?
Sure. So motion.
I make a
Second.
second.
Any further discussion? John, can you just let us know? Just email.
Will you talk me?
Email me and
Well, it's on to me,
Yeah.
and then we'll share.
I'll email you and you'll share.
Sure. Yeah.
Is an updated agreement needed to update the terms, or who would do
I
that?
thought there was something in there.
contract
There's something in
says-
there that allows for additional removal
It
at
does.
the per.
It says minimum 2,400, and if budget's available, they would continue moving at the per cubic yard rate until the budget is expended.
Right.
You just need to know what's that number. So now I have that, or I will have after I talk to him.
And, you know, if we find additional money or anything else in Summit County that's cleaned up, then, you know,
Yeah, but
we'll may have to do something with that. But
the
I'm trying my best to be conservative in counting for everything, but also trying to make sure we're spending as much as we can.
if the weather holds, I'm saying end of next week, they're going to be finished.
That would be great. If that would be great if we can have all expenditures finished before the end of June. All work done.
All the work will be done and the invoices
Aids,
will be
inspections
received.
and everything, yeah. That would be lovely.
That was one of the things I asked them up front is, can you get it done by the end of June and send us the invoices? Yeah, so I must say this contractor is absolutely amazing. Let's hope they bid on the down account. Thank you. Anything else?
All in favor? Okay. Yeah, we got to talk about the uniforms.
I've requested more t-shirts.
Right. Yeah, so John had requested, of course, more shirts using the rest of the budget for the Parks and Rec's uniform budget, which was originally $1,600. But that budget was for staff and volunteer shirts. So it wasn't just staff uniforms, it was also volunteer t-shirts and things. And so we disbanded the committee and we have not spent any money on volunteer shirts this year. And so I wasn't comfortable saying, yeah, he can use the rest of that budget because that budget was not intended all for staff uniforms, because we have budgeted for next year as well, but for volunteer shirts too. You know, we don't have any policy on uniforms or even personal protective gear or whatever to give any guidance, but given that, you know, they work outdoors year round, a need for short sleeve shirts, long sleeve shirts, a sweatshirt, jackets, pair of safety boots every year, something, there's a reasonable replacement rate in there somewhere. I don't know what that is.
On a day like today, I might go through 2-3 t-shirts because it's hot and you do physical labor, you sweat a lot.
Yeah.
And
So
my wife kindly launders them, but when you only have a few t-shirts and they're getting laundered 3 times a week, they don't last.
right. But all I'm saying is, I just felt I wasn't comfortable saying, yes, go ahead and spend the rest of that money on staff things when it was originally budgeted for volunteer shirts. Whatever council wants to do is fine. I just felt like it needs to be a council decision. And if we want to think about what we feel like is appropriate on an annual basis replacement rate, it might actually be more than what you're getting now. When we think about it, because I
The other thing we haven't been doing, which I don't think is correct, I've been buying all my own uniform pants and not expensing them. Big Dave's been doing the same, and we're getting through them. With they get torn, they get grease stains on them, oil stain, diesel
Which
stain.
is why I'm saying I think we probably need some sort of policy, right? Like I said, with safety shoes, they've each gotten a pair of boots, or we purchased 2 pair of boots. I assume it's 1 pair for each one.
Right? How often?
Right. And then,
You need them twice a year.
if they buy gloves,
Well, you've seen me wear them till they fall off
I
my
know
feet.
you do.
You've ordered me to go change my boots
I
because
know.
they're
I do
falling
not
off
want
my
your feet
feet.
getting hurt.
but if we order gloves or different types of hair protection or hard hats or something like that, to me, that's just supplies.
Yeah.
As opposed to the uniform budget. To me, the uniform budget would be shirts, jackets, boots, maybe pants or whatever. So, again, I just thought it was something council should weigh in on instead of us just saying sure.
I agree. I think we put I guess it would be a per diem or per annual amount on there and allow them to use that for whatever they deem is necessary. You know?
So do we approve this order and then starting July 1, we try to have a
We already have a budget approved.
We have a
for
budget.
uniforms.
Uniforms for next fiscal year is $1,000. So for two people, that'd be $500 a piece.
It's not a lot.
And when safety shoes are over $100 a pair, is
Safety shoes are $200 a pair, at least.
I think that'd be nice if you were to write up a budget or a proposal of what you think you and Dave and any future staff would need per
Put your pants on there.
with pants,
Yeah.
shoes, shirts.
I was thinking like a sweatshirt or a coat. I mean, I know you've bought some over the years, short sleeve shirts, long sleeve shirts. So that's kind of what I was thinking. And
What we do, I buy them seasonally. Like when they've got holes in the armpits, when they're all faded out, I just say, Amy, order me 10 new T-shirts.
yeah,
We're saying if we can have we could right size your budget to make sure that you're getting that on an annual basis, and then you, Dave, if we ever add another person to the park with them, we know what that cost is on an annual basis, so that we can budget for it appropriately, and we can also set up relationships with those vendors to know, like, all right, we're bringing on the second big day. We need all of this for their first half of the year.
so there is
$1,000 is not going to get you far.
$1,000 not very far. Year to date, we spent $823 of $1,600 of the budget.
But we haven't bought the T-shirts yet.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying what we've actually spent of the $1,600. So, does council want to approve spending any more of the $1,600 25-26 budget for shirts? And then we have $1,000 in the budget for next year. And then Jonathan's comment about you and Dave come up with, this seems like a reasonable replacement rate per year per employee, park employee.
10 shirts, 10 long sleeve, 5 sweatshirts, a jacket, a pair of work boots every 6 months.
We don't do jackets. We just.
You're just sweating.
And we've been buying our own pants. So the only thing the village has been paying for is short sleeve, long sleeve T-shirts, sweatshirts, and safety boots. And then the things like hard hat, ear protection, gloves, they've just been going on general supplies, not in uniform.
Because they're more replaceable. I mean, to me, they're more like, you have a hard hat and you have a set of earmuffs, either one of you could use them. Although you probably have your own.
No, they're called PPE, personal protective
But I'm just saying,
equipment for
if
a
they were
reason.
hanging around, somebody would never know whose is whose. It's just supplies. It's just supplies.
If I put Big Dave's hat on, it would be down
You
here.
can adjust those, John. So it doesn't
So
count.
I think when I finally said in the budget numbers, I was suggesting $1,000 per person per annum for a uniform.
I just think that if we had,
You don't make sure it's enough.
if we had that annual request, like if we had this is how many we're going through, this is what we, so we had somebody to support the decision to put that money behind there, it's easier to give you more when we know exactly.
John, we'd like to buy you some pants.
We have a 3-year.
We want to buy you pants, we just want to have the justification how many
You have a
need to plan
3-year
for.
history already available. I mean, analysing it to death to me adds no value whatsoever. To be honest, we've got a 3-year history of how much we've spent on uniform. What shoes cost, excluding pants?
Yes, so that's all we're doing is we're just asking how many are you going through in a year, so that way we can make sure that we give you the right amount.
And we don't mean wear them until they're threadbare, falling
No.
off your body.
Well, I am doing that.
We know, John, but that's, we bought these shirts for you for a couple of reasons. One being, so you're professionally representing the village. And that's not being done if you're wearing raggedy clothes.
Right, well, if I don't wear raggedy clothes, you better up the budget to $2,000 for T-shirts, sweatshirts and things, because I'll need to buy them a lot more often.
Okay, council, we've talked about $1,000 uniform.
We love to talk about the little stuff.
More than we talked about $53,000 of mud removal.
Yeah.
Can we come to an action on this?
Does John have council's approval to spend the rest of the $638.14 for his shirts?
It's actually, that's just like 2/3 of the budget. That's
No, no, Amy. We're just saying this is the estimate we have is $634.
right. But I thought available was closer to $900. This is
It
just
is.
to show.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was clarifying with the council.
Can John spend the rest of his money on his
Yes.
clothes?
I would request that we spend the rest that's available so we can buy ourselves some pants and expense those rather than paying for them
Sure.
ourselves.
Council good with that?
It's in the budget, yeah.
And Lori's just asking for some kind of documentation so we can prove that we have some kind of policy of, we know that we spend two pairs of boots a year, shirts, and it can be informal. You give it to us and we'll figure out the rest. Just so we have an informal documentation. So when we get audited again, we're like,
Yeah, because that's what I'm expecting with auditors, to ask why we do certain things.
I've been
that
pulling
was-
numbers out of the air. 1 pair of boots each, 10 short sleeve, 10 long sleeve, 5 sweatshirts, 10 pairs of pants. There you go.
got it.
That's
All
it.
right.
Let me know how much the pants cost. $777.36 remains in the budget,
777,
and 36 cents.
36 cents.
Is that after the t-shirt purchase?
No,
Okay.
that's 1,600 minus the 832 whatever spent year to date.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
So did we actually make that a motion, or we just
Not yet.
It's already in the budget.
Sorry, yeah. Get you some nice pants.
Who was the second to that motion? I didn't hear that.
There was no motion.
Okay.
It
It's already in the
wasn't.
budget. It was just a discussion of whether or not we were okay with it.
All right. We are still, Mr. Boyce, getting down a little early. So, Mayor and council comments, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Working in construction, there's oftentimes many colorful conversations, loud, violent conversations. The guy that I work for, that I have the most respect for in my career, told me one time that I frosted his fanny, and I was a whole lot more hurtful than any of the violent, loud, other conversations. My fanny got frosted at the Carpo meeting of last month, May the 20th. I don't know how many of you guys saw the reports after that, but basically it's about I-77 South improvements. To recap, it's about 11 mile stretch, $3.5 million project, 160,000 cars traveling daily, 2.5 times more crashes than any other major highway. Carpo started talking about this back in 2014, and in October of last year approved a funding model. We didn't approve the design. We didn't approve anything more than the funding model for the improvements, and I was using a P3 delivery for that section. We realized the errors that occurred on 77 North and put together a work group to fix that, and took that back to DOT, and DOT accepted a lot of those, well, just about all of those recommendations. 9 days before our meeting on the 20th, well, let me back up. There has been a lot of public outcry, and let me go on record by saying that I was not in favor of a lot of the designs that came out from NCDOT, and there was a lot of plans put into motion to hear those concerns by the residents. But 9 days before our meeting, Charlotte City Council rescinded their approval for the I-77 South improvements and pulled that back. There was nothing on the agenda for the CARPO meeting on the 20th to discuss this. The mayor of Matthews, who is a CARPO voting member, asked that it be put on the agenda. Brad Richardson, who is the chairman for CARPO, polled the voting members, and we, by number, all said that we did not want that put on the agenda. Discussion and a possible vote to rescind CARPO's recommendations. Because it's a weighted balance, Charlotte overruled. I mean, it's basically one vote that overruled that. Our concerns were there were the two most vocal and really, I mean, in my opinion, the most knowledgeable members of CARPO, Commissioner Ed Griggs from the city of Charlotte and Lee Altman from Mecklenburg County. Neither one of those were there. They had alternates stand in their spot, and our concern was, without Councilman Griggs's input, we really felt like that it was a rush to do this. But Charlotte voted in favor of it. We put it on the agenda and ended up calling for a vote to rescind CARPO's support. And again, going around the room, the city of Charlotte's representative was probably of the 27 votes. No, I'm sorry, 31 votes. Of the 31 votes, we probably got through about 17 of them before they got to Charlotte. Charlotte voted to remove it, to pull back our support, and that happened. The troubling part with all this is the what ifs. There were too many what ifs. I mean, we had actually. Councilman Griggs was interviewed by WCNC, and he said it best. He said, we're going to lose $3.5 billion worth of investment. We're going to lose 10 new bridges that are going east to west across I-77. We're going to incur the wrath of the state government and NCDOT, and more importantly to me, about $700 million of state funds that were specified in the STIP for this are now gone. I mean, there were too many what ifs. One of the things and the biggest thing was there was only 15% of the design complete. So, nowhere was this ready to go. I mean, the asphalt trucks are not lining up. There was still a lot of work to be done on that. The outcry that happened after the meeting was we all felt like we have the right to have the information. And by the way that the mayor Matthews and the representative from the city of Charlotte, with the way they pushed this vote through, we did not have the right to that information. So I share all that to say I'm very, very frustrated being a member of CARPO based upon that vote. But that's the way it occurred, and that's where we're at. All I got.
And your tail was frosted?
No.
Frosted my fanny.
Was that a British fanny or a U.S. fanny?
It's a southern fanny.
I'll go next. John, a friend of mine who works at the library said they're bringing their mobile.
Yeah, they've already had one.
Do they ever share anything so we could publicize it on the Facebook page?
They put it on there.
They did?
Yeah.
Amy, maybe we could keep an eye on that or reach out.
It's a really nice truck. They've got this mobile library thing. It's all colourful. It's a very expensive F350. Very, very nice truck. And they bring out a laptop. You can join the library. You can check out books. You can return books.
Do they coordinate it through you?
No.
So you know they're there?
No, they talked to Amy. Amy gave me the dates.
Okay.
I welcomed them. I told them Thursday afternoon would be a good time because they didn't know when they were setting the schedule, what were the busy times, they never asked anybody. I told them, these are probably the days during the week when you're going to get the most traffic. So they appreciate that feedback. I don't think they've changed the schedule based on that. But they got, everybody who came to the park while we were there, went over to talk to them, visited, they got a few new people joining the library.
Good. Thank you. I didn't really have any comments, just to kind of echo the Carpo comments from the perspective of watching it go down from a distance and being grateful I was a part of it. That the town of Matthews and Mayor Matthews in particular has really received a rough end of it from Carpo for the mass transit and I-74 or US 74 and now on this I-77 with the boat and everything else. There is this thing, they're part of Mecklenburg County, but they aren't really part of Mecklenburg County. And it's interesting to kind of watch how that dynamic goes, and it was all about pressure. It's just like if you remember last year before last, before Tim Ward left as speaker, was all the pressure on Charlotte. You don't need mass transit, you need more highways. And so maybe this was Charlotte's response to, we don't want the highways this way, I don't know, but it's not getting any better. And when you look at it, because I was on Carpo when 74, they were talking about that extension, because it was going to be a bus expressway, then it was going to be something else, and then there were actual buses and everything else. And it was the first one to come across in the billions. And I remember everybody just flabbergasted because right away, just that's the killer. And that's the same thing we face here. We're just trying to get roads in. We know there's going to be growth, and we know everything's going on. We just keep bringing in more and more development, but we aren't improving the infrastructure. We just keep talking about it.
And we can't hold developers accountable for it.
No. It's just sad. It's just sad.
I say it's 10:15. I'm all shut.
All right, then a motion to adjourn?
I will so make that motion.
Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
No discussion allowed. All in favor? Unanimous.